If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
It is Tuesday night. I am Sean Stanley. He is Mr. AEW Frankie Frezko. How are we doing this evening, sir?
What's up, Sean? How is everything going?
Doing good, man. It was a good long night of pro wrestling on Sunday night. I will say that.
It was.
But we're going to dive into that and a lot of AEW heavy at the beginning, and then we will get into our Money in the Bank predictions later on. And we got a new segment. I'm going to let Frankie say the name of the segment because it comes out better from him. We have a new segment coming today, and what is it called, Frankie?
It's called Top 5 No Debating List.
There it is, the Top 5 No Debating List.
Yes, sir.
Those are coming out today, and ours did it today. Frankie and myself, we decided on the top 5 female wrestlers of 2023.
Correct.
So in the last 6, almost 7 months,
yeah,
the top 5.
Who we got? Who is the top 5 right now? Like the ones that we think are just killing it right now, right?
Yep, I think I got a surprising list, but we'll see. And then so we got 2 at times already in, banging up on Pepsi Phil. Nick comes in and he says, "Give him some time." My dad's in saying, "Hey, the wrestling guys." And EWD Jr. is in. Good evening, Sean and Frankie, and a good evening to everybody listening to us here on Twitter and on Twitch. And then if you're listening to us on the podcast, don't forget, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so you get notifications coming from us, and then follow us on our Instagram, TikTok, and Instagram, TikTok, Twitter for me is at Sean_Stanley11. And then Frankie's at Frezko Music. So we're going to get started. And number 1 on the list we're getting started with the top. We're getting started with AEW, and it's AEW Rampage. And Frankie, take it away, my man.
All right, guys. So there was a lot of wrestling this week for AEW. We had Dynamite, we had Rampage, we had Collision, and then we had Forbidden Door. So we had 4 shows this week, which was up and down when it comes to the ratings. But overall, in general, it wasn't as bad as I thought, at least to my view. And I want to get Sean's opinion eventually on this. So let's first talk about Rampage. And we typically do not speak about Rampage because obviously everybody, or maybe just Sean, is upset that it's recorded. And I will say this. I honestly feel that Rampage, I was having this debate with my brother earlier today. Rampage, for me, is a show that can do well, in my opinion. Now, the reason what happened in Rampage this week, let's start there. So obviously, Dynamite was, there's so much. I'm so caught up right now. It's so much wrestling.
Come on, Frankie, get it out, buddy. Come on, Mr. AEW.
So
get it out.
So okay, so we'll do this. Dynamite, I just want to reference this. Dynamite this last week did about 902. They did 902, and from what I did my research on, it peaked when Jeff Jarrett and Mark Briscoe were fighting, which was probably the best moment of the.
It was near the beginning, wasn't it?
I thought it was kind of more like towards the middle. I think it was like the middle of the fight, like the middle of that.
I kind of catch them in between. So to me, it might have been the beginning of when I started watching, which might have been the middle of the show.
But it was the most exciting part. You know, that fight was really good. They even started it outside because there was a brawl outside. It wasn't in
the concession stand. It was a concession stand match. That's kind of what the Jarretts brought up when they were in Memphis. One of the matches they kind of.
And it was good because you had the mystery people come. I remember Mark Briscoe was pushed from the ladder. He flipped and landed on the table and all that stuff. So it did its work. And it goes to show you too, Sean, that you don't need heavy hitters to gain the interest of the fans. You don't need a Chris Jericho. You don't need a CM Punk. You don't need a Kenny Omega, the Elite. You had Mark Briscoe and Jeff Jarrett peaking.
But they got people to invest in the story of Mark Briscoe right now, which is what I talk about a lot is like, if you can get them to invest and tell a story that works, they will follow it. They will listen. They will watch it.
Correct. So that was the one thing I want to talk about Dynamite. So then we go into Rampage, and then the Rampage, this is supposed to be a Rampage, obviously recorded. But in my eyes, it was actually a Rampage that I actually wanted to hear as well and watch it because I knew what was coming and it gained my interest. It wasn't so much about, hey, you know what? Rampage sucks. It's recorded. It's the same thing over and over. There was a lot of different things that were going on. Number one, we had Anthony Bowens, who actually revealed that he is gay. And
that's been nothing new. He's already.
I know that. But it's the first time he actually announces it on TV. It wasn't something that nobody has ever heard it from his own mouth.
Oh yeah. Not on a show, no.
Oh, exactly.
But on AEW, he has done it on their Twitter account and everything else.
Yes, correct. And then the other thing was they had obviously the little segue where they were the rapping was going on, where it was Harley Cameron rapping against the Acclaim. So they made it all like a little kind of I guess show for the fans, which you typically do not see on Rampage. Then we also had MJF come for the very first time to Rampage. We had not seen that, and they were pushing that. You know, they're pushing that MJF Adam Cole type of feud that was going on. And then the last thing that also included on that show was the secret fighter that was also on that promo with QTV and the Acclaim, which was the return of Johnny TV. That's what he's going to be going as moving forward. So here's my question to you, Sean. We all knew this was going to happen. They already had announced Johnny TV was going to show up. We didn't know too much. I don't remember hearing as much about Anthony Bowens obviously saying, hey, he was gay to the public. And we kind of knew that obviously that MJF was going to make his way over. because of this events that were happening Rampage, which typically do not happen. MJF is never there. You don't have a big thing where it says, "Hey, we're revealing somebody who's gay on national TV," and we don't have like a special person showing up for the very first time. Did that gain your interest to actually tune into Rampage, or were you still saying, "Look, I don't care about this. I don't want to watch it"?
No, I didn't need to watch it. I watched it, but I already knew what was going to happen. I'd already gotten the results and everything else, so I knew. But again, I was working on audio, working on stuff like that, so I had it on in the background watching it. You know, I mean, and I do that for most of them. I know what's happening. I know what's going on, but also I want to see how it gets presented also, because again, you can see the results, you can see everything else, but I want to see how they're going to present all of this and how they package some of it in to the programming, because again, it's about drawing and investing my interest in the character development of guys and gals and everything else. And look, I'm not saying Rampage is bad. It just, to me, it doesn't make sense to record every week. Throw in some surprises. You're doing these. This is the other thing that I found interesting. Okay, if you're doing all these, what are they calling their house shows now? AEW.
I don't know the name
what
exactly.
they're calling them, but they're the house shows. So why not on Friday make that last hour Rampage? You did it here when you came to the James L. Knight Center. You had wrestling from 8 to 10, and then at 10 you went live for Rampage at 11. I'm not saying you got to do it every week, but I mean, do it every once in a while. So then yes, you can have the surprises. Yeah, they're going to have things on there that you're not necessarily. They can throw in little vignettes of something and things like that, but you're never going to get a real quote unquote surprise from a Rampage show unless it's live.
Now, this is the thing that also kind of I wanted to bring up was the fact that Rampage numbers went down. So Rampage the week before was 423. And then this show that actually made, in my opinion, it made sense. It looked cohesive, and it
was a lead into Forbidden Door,
and it had its pop. I really enjoyed this Rampage. It's a Rampage, a rare Rampage where you actually can say, "Yo, this is actually an entertaining Rampage." The numbers didn't fall by a lot, but it fell to 391. So let me ask you something. This is the debate I was having with my brother. Do you think AEW should even have Rampage on Fridays?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think?
No.
Hold on.
No, they don't go against SmackDown. No.
I don't know. No, that's not where I'm going with this.
All right, go ahead.
This is what my brother and me were thinking. What if? Because Dynamite had 902, so they had a pretty good number last week. What about adding Rampage on Wednesdays? So instead of doing a 2-hour show, you do a 2-hour show for Dynamite, and then you do that 1-hour show for Rampage, and you get rid of wrestling on Fridays for
you can't change a show in the middle. If you do anything, it'd be 3 hours of Dynamite or whatever. You can't do 2 Rampage and then 2 of Dynamite and 1 of Rampage if you go 3 hours. But again, Warner Brothers is paying them for 2 hours of TV time on Wednesday and an hour of, and apparently they're happy with the numbers. Warner Brothers knows exactly what they're doing. They know the numbers, so they must be okay with it. They're working on getting more. They gave them more TV time.
I'm just curious because I'm just curious because Sean. All right, let's see. For example, those people who are tuning in, those 391 that tuned in on Friday. What made them tune in? Like, what made you want to go and watch it? Whenever we watch, let's say, for example,
they're the hardcore AEW fans that just had nothing else to do on that Friday night.
Okay,
it's just that simple.
But what else can AEW do to gain more viewership on that Friday night Rampage show?
You do, and then I hate to say this because I understand they don't want to be like them, but you do what WWE is doing with NXT.
So do 2 live shows. I'm sorry.
You have to go live, and then you have people show up to make it feel like it means something. Don't make it. That's where WWE went wrong before when they did SmackDown, Raw, and NXT. It felt like there was an A show, there was a B show, and there was a C show. And if you're giving it to me on a plate like that, that's how I'm going to watch it. And unfortunately, I think that's what's happened with AEW Rampage. Is it's kind of just like, hey, here's an hour of wrestling. I believe they need to go live so they can throw a little bit of extra spice in there every once in a while. Because you could throw MJF on there, but if it's recorded, does it matter at that point?
What about if they don't want to go live? Because it looks like that's the problem. They don't want to go live on Fridays.
Then everybody's happy with what they're doing. Because to me, if Warner Brothers had an issue with it, they would have already said something. They would have been like, hey, these numbers got to get better. But again, you gave them a time slot at 10 o'clock on Friday night. You know what you're getting at that point. Now, are you hoping they stay at about 4 or 5? Probably. You probably don't want the 300s. But again, if they stay in the 4, 5, 6 range, I don't think they have an issue with it.
But look at SmackDown. And I know SmackDown's on Fox. And I know they're in a better time slot, 8 o'clock. But, man, they did 2.3 million viewers on SmackDown. Yes,
but it's live. You don't know what you're getting.
Yes, I don't even think Rampage is going to get 1 million views, even if they go live on a Friday.
No, they're not. But again, you're comparing apples and oranges, man.
I know.
That's the problem here is I think a lot of people honestly think AEW is competition to WWE. They're not, man. They're not, bro. I can get it. Everybody wants to say AEW and WWE. They're not there yet, man. They're not there yet. I mean, do you want that in your performers? Like, hey, we want to beat them? Hell yes. As fans, do you probably want that show to beat them? Yes. But you're not there yet, man. You haven't figured out the right booking way to keep fans coming and growing. You're staying the same, but you're not growing. In order to get to where they're at, they've got to grow.
What that? I mean, look, and I'm reading the chat, because you have Cap saying, look, I'm passed out by 10, bro. So he's already gone to sleep. You have Tua Time saying they ain't close to WWE. And they don't have WWE has the bloodline and stuff like that.
So, Cruz Reeves, good to see you, my man. But I'm not saying that they need to copy WWE. What I'm saying is they've got to make it more interesting. Like something could happen that you don't expect.
They just did that. They just did that on Friday when they brought Johnny TV, and that was something
I knew about it Wednesday night. Wednesday night at midnight, I knew the whole card.
Yeah, we knew. We all knew.
Exactly. But, so again, you think if I get it, I'm not one of those guys that send it out, but there's a lot of people that tweet out the results.
Oh yeah.
Already. So those wrestling fans are like, well, hell, Friday at 10 o'clock, why not go out? I already know what's going to happen. I'll DVR it and watch it later if I get to it.
Well, let me ask you this. And this is me just thinking outside the box, right? If you're watching a TV show, because technically these are like TV shows as well, right? They're just wrestling.
They're TV shows. They are they're live action TV shows.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Let's say, for example, a big show. I'm not a fan of The Walking Dead, but I know The Walking Dead was a big show when it was on. And people didn't catch. There's some people who don't watch it. Or like, let's say, for example, when you're doing streaming services like the Marvel thing and on the Disney Plus app and all that stuff, that you don't actually watch it when the show actually premieres that episode. But it still intrigues people to go ahead and say, yo, I'm going to DVR and I'm going to rewatch it. Yo, I'm going to go ahead and let a couple of shows go, and then I'm going to come back and watch those shows.
Yep.
What can AEW do to kind of get that same type of result as these regular TV shows have? Because
because you got to invest in the story, man. They don't have stories, bro. They've lost that. They've got stories for certain people, and they've lost it on everything else. That's the thing. Like, I'm not tuning in just to watch two guys, wrestle in spandex at 10:05 at night. I don't care how good the girls look. I'm not going to tune in just to watch that at night. You've got to give me a reason. Why do I Sky Blue? There's what they did with her this past week. I thought was tremendous. The way they developed that character, the way they've been doing the whole thing with the Briscoes. Go back to even further when they were at the farm and they came out to the farm and they did the vignettes and they were working on the farm that day. From there to when he was the special guest referee for FTR's match. everything that's gone on from there. Again, it's a story you can get invested into. I get it. They're not top names. You don't have to have top names. The top names stories write themselves for those guys. MJF and Adam Cole. You don't have to do a whole lot for that.
But let me ask you this.
It tells itself. You have to have stories for the other guys to invest for me to want to watch those guys over and over.
If the story's that good, but it's still being recorded ahead of schedule, will you get the casual wrestler to tune in?
I don't know that you're gonna get the casual wrestling fan until you do a big change in AEW.
Let me ask you this. Remember that SmackDown that was taped?
But you will get what you talked about. If somebody DVRs it, they'll go back and watch it if there's a story to it, because there's a reason that you want to go back and watch it.
Remember that SmackDown that you said that it was taped? What was those numbers for that SmackDown? Do you recall?
1.9.
Wow. A 1.9, and we knew what the hell was gonna happen in that show.
But again, it's the casual fans. Yeah. It's the people that just watch SmackDown because they're wrestling fans and they get Fox. That's the other thing. I mean, that's why I usually do not throw the SmackDown ratings in there, because it's not fair.
Yeah, it's
like almost anybody can get the Fox. Now, when you go with Raw this past week, did a 1.95.
Well, look, I'm going to tell you something, because I found this research on when the Johnny TV segue happened. That's when Rampage peaked. It peaked at 292,000. The one before that one, which had like about 265, was the MJF Adam Cole promo, and then the one it dropped. They had the third biggest correction. These are views that people are having on YouTube. So when people look on YouTube,
okay, you're looking at the YouTube stats. Okay,
I'm sorry, it was the YouTube stats I'm looking at. So the YouTube stats, what people go in there and they plug in to watch kind of like the replays. Because this is one thing I did speak with my brother. You know, me and my brother are hardcore Dolphin fans. We're season ticket holders. We live and die and breed Miami Dolphins. And I told my brother, I'm like, look, man, whenever they go on an away game and I'm DJing, let's say, for example, because it's happened a lot of times, and I can't watch the football game, I DVR it and I go back and I rewatch the game. Now, if I see that the Miami Dolphins got blown out and the game is terrible, I won't rewatch the game because I don't want to see that. So like what you said, I guess, is what the only way they're going to be able to get some more viewership is by actually having a storyline that kind of carries it. And it allows the person to see, hey, I want to watch it because no matter, even though I already know the result or I already know what's going to happen, at least I could watch it and I actually want to see what's going on here because it's intriguing and it catches my eye.
I think it's one of those things. And Two at Time said right here, I don't read the spoilers for tape shows. I like to be surprised. Rampage usually has people I have no interest in. Again, if you don't have a story, people are not usually interested in some of the people they put on Rampage. And he says, if I see someone I feel like I'll watch, and then I'll fast forward. He'll basically forward to where those performers are. I mean, it's one of those things where, man, like you haven't developed. And look, man, I honestly thought the first 2 years they had great stories, man. The Adam Page storyline took 2 years to develop till he finally got it, and I felt like they rode up to that point, and then was like, we'll see what happens after that. Because that's where I feel like everything fell off the track. Once Adam Page won the championship, and not a coincidence, by the way, I believe it was around the same time the whole CM Punk thing started.
Probably, yeah.
Talk started at least. And then everything kind of has, you know, it's just been this. And I get it. People are like, oh, you know, I don't want to see any more of the Elite. Dude, the Young Bucks keep themselves, I think, out of the tag team division way too much. Way too much, man. I don't understand why. I get it. You're the EVPs, you're the whatever, but I almost feel like they've kept themselves out for way too long. Kenny Omega, yes, he won the championship, but then since then, what has he done for a championship run? Cody Rhodes, 3 months into the company, lost a match where he could never challenge for heavyweight title. That's what the EVPs did, so they would not be a part of the story. They basically wrote themselves off. And I believe at the beginning, that's what people wanted to see. As dumb as it may sound, I believe they wanted to see Omega as the champion, Young Bucks as a tag team champions, and then watch people come in and go against them, like us against the world, the Elite against the world. I believe they could have done some of that. And I get it. John Moxley was, contract came up, things like that happen. You can't just kind of bring Moxley in and be like, hey, okay, you're going to sit there. You had Jericho. You have guys there. But I believe at some point they went so far to make the Elite not the focal point, when I believe you could have had a good run of being the Elite against everybody else that was coming in.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, because you could honestly say the Elite probably would be the closest thing to probably the Bloodline, because that was like the echelon of AEW, the Elite, from the beginning of the show, from like when it first started. They always kind of sold that, hey, the Elite, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, etc., etc. So you have a point. So then we transition now to Saturday, and Saturday we had Collision. Now, I've been talking to Chad from the I don't know if he's on the comment section in the group chat right now, but me and Chad have been talking, and I will tell you this, and again, kind of like a quick recap of what happened, right? They started the show different, and this I like. One thing that I'm realizing about AEW Collision is that it is a lot better programming, in my opinion, than what they show on Dynamite and what they show on Rampage. They actually are gaining, in my opinion, a good show. Like, us wrestlers are, us wrestling fans are into this because it's actually done productively well. They're producing it well. The first thing that they started the show with was they put in CM Punk and FTR all together, which was going to be the main event. And then they showed Juice Robinson and these guys, the Guns all together, all of them all doing it. So you know how they have it on Fridays where they have Mark Henry, and Mark Henry is like, hey,
it's main event time.
Exactly. So what they did was they started the show by giving a glimpse of, hey, let's let these guys talk, and then the next one, let's let these other guys talk, and that builds it up for the end of the show, which I have never seen AEW done that before, in my opinion. In Dynamite, I haven't seen them do that before, to be honest with you, which I thought was actually creative. And I actually said, yo, this is a good way to actually get the viewing public to start tuning into it. Then all of a sudden you have Tony Schiavone he comes out, they go and he announces Darby Allin and Sting, because they were supposed to present their opponent, their partner with them. And then they hit it in all cylinders. You get Chris Jericho instead, which is something that I wasn't even expecting. I didn't expect Jericho to come out. I thought Jericho was going to come out later on once they've already announced who it was. So that was creative. And again, I don't know if you see it the same way I'm looking at it, but these are things that I don't see on Dynamite.
Again, this is one of the things where you have Sting and you have Chris Jericho. They get it. They're like, if you would have just came out and they would have been like, excuse me, they would have been like, here's our tag team partner, and then you have them come out. No, that doesn't make sense, because there's no build. It's about building up, because Jericho came in and he goes, oh, me or whoever, what it's going to be. And then Darby said, you lost to him in the Tokyo Dome. And then you see Jericho's face. Jericho's face sells it more when you announce it as being, Naito, and then he comes out. And then you kind of, again, it just gives you that feeling that you can invest in. That's, again, man, wrestling is not difficult.
No.
If you can get fans to feel it, then they're going to be there for it, man. And everybody says it all the time. It's a male soap opera, man. It really is, because you have to get, and I know I get it. Women watch wrestling too as well, and kids too. But kids usually can fall for anything. Women, you throw out a guy in spandex. If he looks okay, he shakes his butt, they might go with the wrestling there. The guys, you got to get to have and understand that the guy wants to beat their. It's like you got to sell it more to them. It's not just, hey, this guy comes out. You've got to get them to, it's got to turn into, like, oh, he wants to go at him. And again, I go back to when I was growing up, man. It was Dusty Rhodes. It was Kevin Sullivan. It was like. And I get it. Wrestling has changed a lot back then. I mean, I'll never forget. I went to Sunrise Musical Theater.
Okay.
Kevin Sullivan and his whole crew, they pull up in a Winnebago. The Winnebago is parked in the thing. That's what they don't even go into the locker room. They enter and exit from the Winnebago. That's that. They didn't even go into the locker rooms, and it's one of those things where it's like you had these guys. I mean, you had matches that were just, you couldn't do matches that they did back then. Hell, they had Ron Bass and Barry Windham did the match where whoever lost had to put the saddle on him and get rode around the ring, like a horse and things like that. And I look back, but even the smallest matches had some meaning. It wasn't just like, hey, let's throw that guy and let's see what happens. And that's what I feel like a lot of today is. And it gets used a lot, and especially around Forbidden Door. Dream matches. Oh, I always want to see that dream match. Oh, I want to see that dream match. And then you start seeing them and you're like, yeah, maybe I could have waited. And I'm not talking about Forbidden Door, by the way. We'll get into that in a little bit. I'm just saying sometimes styles clash and you don't, it's not, or Pacquiao Mayweather, you do it a little bit too late and it doesn't have the same,
good point,
same flair to it.
Well, moving on with the show, they did a killer promo with Miro where he comes out and he says, yo, I renounce his God, and he even renounces his wife. That was a killer promo. I like the fact that they're pushing Miro on Collision and he's delivering. You also had Andrade fight against
amazing when you give guys TV time.
And you had Andrade, and now the beef that he's having with the House of Black and how they're taking his mask and they're running with it. And again, I know a lot of people are saying it, Tool Time is saying, Pepsi Phil over Omega and all stuff. I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to tell you something really, really clutch that AEW has as a gold mine. And that's the fact that everybody hates CM Punk right now. And it reminds me a lot of the whole Dominic Mysterio situation where they're booing the crap out of each of these wrestlers. And obviously you could tell that Dominic Mysterio is a little bit too green yet. So he doesn't know that experience, while CM Punk is definitely selling it as much as he can. You see when he comes out, he starts putting his hand on his ear saying, let me hear it. And he wants people to either cheer him or boo him. He wants a reaction. And that is something that they need to figure out and keep carrying it. And I, for one, myself, they need to make CM Punk a heel again. They need to make him a heel. They need to make him a heel. You need to make him a heel because right now the fans are not happy with him and they're not liking him. And you know what? CM Punk becomes a heel, starts telling these fans, go screw yourself. Y'all stupid because y'all think that Kenny Omega or whoever, any of these guys can beat me while I'm the best in the world, and push that narrative. I think it is a gold mine that they have right now with CM Punk getting all this hate. I see you shaking your head.
I don't think you force. You don't call him a heel or a face. You let the fans do it. They're doing it organically, but you don't label him. You don't label him. You don't.
No. But he can start making like heel moves.
He is no. But see, this is where I think you're wrong. Like, he doesn't need to come out. What he needs to do is do what he's doing. Come out and know I'm the best in the world. You can boo me all you want, but I'm the best in the world. It reminds me of Ric Flair back in the day when he cut it and he said, diamonds are forever and so are the four horsemen. You can boo me, you can hate me, but learn to love me because I'm the best thing going today. And I don't think he's got to go full heel. I think you just let the fans organically, do it, because when they're in Chicago and this and that, I think the fans are going to dictate. And I think you take enough, if you believe in Pepsi Phil or CM Punk as much as you say you do, then you know he's going to do the right thing business-wise, and you let him have the horns. You let him go and go with that.
The thing about CM Punk is he is very entertaining. The first whole gig that he came out, obviously the pipe bomb, and he did everything in WWE. The way he has grown his brand, this is the reason why CM Punk is so entertaining. This is why people want to see CM Punk, and why people don't want to see him either, but they'll still tune in just to watch him because they know that CM Punk is relevant. I'm either going to boo him or I'm going to cheer for him. And I agree with you. I'm not saying don't push him as a heel. Kind of let the fans do it, but what I'm trying to say is he needs to continue to do what he's doing, where he goes and he puts his hand on his ear saying, "Hey, I want to hear it. Let me know." And then let him go out there and like boo or whatever. Now, one thing I did not like, and see, these are the little things that I get him, that he's still trying to kind of figure his way. I guess they were trying. I guess you could say that they probably started to do this also with Jack Perry and Jungle Boy, but in the collision fight, no, I'm sorry, on the Forbidden Door, we'll jump into it, but just to quickly say, on the Forbidden Door, he still got boos, but he went and he picked up his opponent.
That's what I'm saying.
Out of respect.
Let the fans hate him. Let the fans hate him. Let him be like, hey, I know I'm the best. And if you know you're the best, then you could show the respect to the other guy after you beat him.
Yeah, but see, I don't think he should do that. I don't think he should do that. I think that's too extra. You don't. Okay, you want to give respect to that.
He's not
you don't have to
up Jack Perry or Kenny Omega.
No, I know.
He's picking up a guy that Kojima, who has there's supposed to be some history there. So yes, I beat him. I proved I'm better than him, and I picked him up. I mean, I think if you start going again, using Jungle Boy as a thing. Once he clotheslines Hook, he's a heel.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So then you cannot in no way dictate the fans' opinion of CM Punk. Whether they like him, they hate him, that's all on them. If he would have disrespected him, that's a heel move.
No, but that's the thing. He didn't need to disrespect him. He didn't need to go out and pick him up. He just had to walk out. That's it. You didn't have to do that extra stuff. Just go. You won. And you walk out like there's nothing tomorrow. But
I proved I'm better than you. Here you go. Boom. He helped them up. They did their thing, and then
they raised
their hand.
They raised their hands together,
and then he left.
But again, it's like maybe I'm wrong on this. I thought that was a little bit too extra. I don't think he needed to do that. I think
the fans are gonna boo him anyways.
Exactly. So why
it's a reaction, man. It's a reaction. You let them dictate. If he raised their hand and they cheered, you're like, okay. If he raised their hand and they booed, I don't care. I got a reaction. That's all anybody wants.
Yeah, I guess.
They don't care if it's a boo, it's a cheer, it's an FU, it's a riot. They don't care. There's a reaction. That is all they want.
But if you want to become
in the ring and be crickets,
if you want to be a heel, eventually, I don't think that's necessary. I think you just walk out. But you're right. You're right, because it does leave both sides. There's gonna be fans that are gonna be, oh, I respect that from him, and there's gonna be fans that'll be like, man, why the hell did he do that? Like me, I'm the type of person that's like, I don't know why he did that, but whatever. But anyways, somebody said it on the chat. I'm not sure who it was, but they were saying that the numbers did not actually prove that this show is actually doing well. And you're right. I grant we spoke about this last week. I told you that this show would be a hit if they hit over 1 million. They did not. I think they were somewhere around the 700s, if I'm not mistaken. 833. Okay. And then I told you, hey, look, is this their peak? Because it's the first show. You're supposed to have a huge blast. Like, everybody's supposed to tune in. It's CM Punk's return after all this controversy. It's a new show that's being debuted. You're having the return of Miro, the return of Andrade, Sky Blue, Chicago. You had all this, and all you hit was over 800. You didn't even hit 1 million, and now the numbers show 595, which is a huge hit. And they were going up against, because I read this, they were going up against the USFL and NBC. They were going against Fox Primetime, which the most nationwide baseball game, which was the Astros and the Dodgers. And then ESPN had the College World Series, and they only averaged 595. I want you guys to understand one thing, and this is my opinion. Maybe Sean doesn't agree with me, but don't let those numbers fool you. This show is actually good. This show is actually worth watching. If you don't like Dynamite, I respect that. If you don't like Rampage, or you've never heard of Rampage, or 10 o'clock is too late, I understand that. But watching Collision, at least these first 2 episodes, I'm being dead honest with you guys. It's a good show. It's not bad. And I'm not preaching as Mr. AEW or anything like that. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. I think overall, Collision is a good show. Sean?
overall, I agree with you. Collision is a good show, but here's the problem I think they're going to have, and the problem I think they're going to have going forward is, I believe this is the CM Punk rub, and this is where you're going to have to figure out how you want to do this, because I believe, again, you heard them in Toronto, you heard it in Chicago. It's two different things. It's Bret Hart in Canada. It's Bret Hart in the U.S.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's kind of how it's gotten now.
Yeah.
And now you're having this guy as the face, not that they said he's the face, but again, they didn't come out and say CM Punk is the face of Collision. But they pretty much have said this is his show.
Yeah, they dictated.
I feel this is the backlash of the CM Punk hate. Because again, I always says it all the time with the talking heads. What does he say? If you don't want them on, don't watch them, because anything you give them, if you watch it, that's numbers. That's all they care about. They don't care. It's like the reaction thing. It doesn't matter. I believe some of this goes to the whole, this is CM Punk show. I honestly believe some of that goes to that. I honestly, with the AEW fans, I believe there are more fans that are with the Elite and against CM Punk that now you have said, well, this is CM Punk's show. And I mean, because there's no reason they shouldn't be getting around 700, 800 like what Dynamite's getting. Because even your AEW fans aren't watching you on Saturday. Because your Dynamite show is averaging between 750 and 900, depending. So now even your diehards are not watching the show. The only thing I can say about that is the fact is CM Punk is the rub. Because the wrestling's good. And I like it better. And I even went through and I went through to look to see, because I was like, what was the big difference between week 1 and week 2? They did 5 matches and 1 promo on week 1. Okay. They did 5 matches and 2 promos in week 2. There's no difference. It's still the same amount of wrestling. Maybe the only thing that they did a little bit more this week was maybe have some of the wrestlers you didn't know, which if you're not a casual wrestling fan. But again, I don't think casual wrestling fans tuned into Collision. I think this was a show of diehard AEW fans saying, we don't like CM Punk.
Well, this is another thing I wanted to go ahead and bring up. I think AEW needs to do that hard split.
Okay, hold on. Sorry. Cap for Life. Yes, Pepsi Phil is CM Punk. Sorry, I thought I said CM Punk and Pepsi Phil at the same time. That's where I was trying to answer you before, so I apologize, Cap.
You guys know that I like Pepsi, so you could call him Pepsi Phil as well. I'm not a fan of Coke. Anyways, they need to do the split, the hard split, man. And that's one thing I kind of want them to do. I don't want to see CM Punk in Dynamite. I don't care if they're in Chicago. I don't. Like, okay, granted. All right, maybe in Chicago. But I hope they don't do this where they start bringing in CM Punk to Dynamite. You have to be able to separate it. There's a reason why
you have to remember, though, there's a reason he was able to come to this one.
Yeah, Chicago.
They weren't there. Well, not only that, the Elite was not there. They were not booked on the show. They had already taped their part beforehand. And then the interesting thing too, and I know we'll get in Forbidden Door before, they were on opposite sides of the arena, by the way.
Correct.
Just so you know, for anybody wondering if this whole thing is, slowly, losing some ground. No, they were still separated by the whole arena.
But again, if this is true, or if this is just a story that they've come up and said, hey, we gotta keep this going, it could be something special for AEW where a lot of people are gonna tune in, because it just makes sense. I wish they would. I hope it's true. I hope that this is a storyline, but they're not. I'm pretty sure it's that they really don't like each other. But
yeah, but again, you don't have to like somebody to make money with somebody.
Of course not.
And again, that's where I think some of this is, let's keep it, cloudy a little bit longer. To me, I think the fact that they're bringing them on Dynamite, I think something happens where they start a storyline. And hopefully they do what I want them to do, is all of a sudden you see the Bucks laid out, and then, whatever. And then ultimately over time, it comes to be FTR and CM Punk.
Well, the reason I said I wanted a split, like a hard split, is because look at the success that WWE has. There's a reason why people tune in to SmackDown. And it's not only because of the wrestling, it's because you have the bloodline. And the bloodline does not come out on NXT, and the bloodline does not come out on Monday Night Raw. There's a reason why people tune into Raw, because you have Cody, because you have Seth. Those guys do not
Judgment Day. Their stories.
The Judgment Day.
It goes back to stories for your other talent other than just your draws.
And not only that, the fact that they split the roster. Like, I don't want to see Cody on Monday Night Raw and then SmackDown every week. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, but
for me,
I don't know.
That hurts the product, in my opinion. That's it. I already saw Cody.
It does, but I just don't know if AEW's there yet, man.
Yeah,
if you separate the rosters, you're saying, okay, Elite, you're over here, CM Punk, you're over here, and you eliminate your big money draw.
No. Not yet. Because I one thing I do agree with you is I do feel like they should at one point in time have CM Punk like eventually go up against the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. But that storyline has to carry. It has to take a while before that even starts to even show up briefly. Because I mean, I'm talking about a couple months down the road before they do that. And the only way you're going to be able to get away with that is by actually going ahead and saying, hey, look, CM Punk has been on Collision this whole time. The past 6 months, he's been on Collision. Or the past 4 months, he's been on Collision. And then all of a sudden, boom, you see him attack. You see the Young Bucks laid out backstage. And you don't even see CM Punk. You just see, like, I don't know, maybe like a something that Punk does. I don't know, maybe a shirt of CM Punk or I don't know, his book bag. I mean, the bag that he was holding the championship belt at Collision, the first episode. You see it like laying on the background or something like that. Something that kind of says, "Yo, what's going on here?" And it kind of starts putting two and two together. That's what I'm saying. They need to keep that roster separated. That's the only way you're gonna have success with Collision. People are gonna watch Collision because you don't see these wrestlers on Dynamite. I don't want to see CM Punk every day. I don't. And even though I do like him, I don't want to see him on Wednesdays, and I don't want to see him on Saturdays. I'd rather just see him on Saturdays. So I hope they continue to do this. I know they did this last CM Punk on Dynamite, and I know that the Bucks and Omega wasn't there, but still, it was something that I hope that they don't continue to do. I don't want them. And I'm talking not only with CM Punk, I'm talking about Miro. I'm talking the same thing about El Idolo. If you're going to move the House of Black to Collision, the House of Black to Collision, you have enough talent. You really do, Sean. We've already spoken about this.
You do. If you start building, stories for them, yes.
But the only way you're going to build stories.
That's what they're doing, though. If you look at what's going on in 2 weeks, on Collision, right? There's a story developing with El Idolo and House of Black.
Yes.
Right? Sky Blue has developed into a story.
Yep.
Right? CM Punk and FTR, CMFTR, whatever, they've kind of became their own little group of story with Bullet Club Gold. And Jay White, Bullet Club Gold.
Yep.
The Guns have joined them now. Now it's Bullet Club Gold. It reminds me of the formation of a little group called DX when they brought in the New Aged Outlaws.
Yes,
and everybody said, "Oh, this isn't going to work." Well, it grew up and blew up to be something pretty damn good. So it's going to be interesting to see, because I believe, and I'll say I'm wrong here. I'm almost glad they didn't put Billy with his sons. I thought it made more sense at the time, but over time, I like watching what the Guns are becoming on their own.
Yeah. Instead
of having their dad's leadership there, and you gave Billy something to do with the Acclaim, with the daddy ass and the scissor me and things like that.
Yep.
So, but I didn't like the way they did the title switch. Still not gonna. But I will say, I believe watching what the Gun Club is doing now, I think beneficial for them that they did not go with their father.
And I like their entrance. Their entrance has gotten a lot better. That has gotten a lot better than what it was before.
That's made them. That
Yep.
Just on Twitter alone, I think it's getting over 1 million views every time.
Yep. Every time they do that, it's getting popped. So then, all right. So now let's talk a little bit about Forbidden Door. So Forbidden Door, right? We saw this. I was excited. Sean actually saw Forbidden Door, right, Sean?
I watched Forbidden Door. Thank you, Alyssa.
I'm so proud of
daughter.
you.
I appreciate the login information.
There you go. So you actually gained the interest of Sean and many of you.
No. I was interested as soon as they announced the first 2 matches. I was like, damn.
And I know Tua Time also tuned in because Tua Time was tweeting me as well. So I know Tua Time was watching it as well. And I know Tua Time is not an AEW. I mean, he has a face of Roman Reigns as is on his comments. So it's like I know I can't if you're getting
Acknowledge me.
If you're getting a person who has Roman Reigns as their image to watch AEW, something's going on. They're doing something right. So Forbidden Door 2, right? It starts off with obviously MJF and Tanahashi, which was a really good fight. And I think they hit it.
Very good old school style wrestling.
And they hit it. That was one of the best fights to actually start. It was 2 big names. MJF was and he used it.
And they didn't do anything where you had to like jump off the top of the building in the second match to outdo. It was allowed to elevate the night. Correct.
And one thing that I also liked, in my opinion, I tuned into it. It was on YouTube. It was on Twitter. Was Forbidden Door 0 Hour. And the only reason I tuned in was because, number one, there was a great fight between Billy Starks and Athena.
Yeah.
For the Owen Hart, the women's portion of it. That was it was a really good fight.
Billy Stark is amazing.
Billy Stark is so good, guys. If you have not heard of her,
hopefully they've already got her inked to a deal.
Man, how old is she? I think she's like 18 years old.
She just I don't even know if she's graduated high school yet. I know she's still going through school.
Dude, I think she's 18 years old.
I think, no, she's only 18 or she just turned 18, but I believe she just graduated high school because she couldn't actually sign anywhere for the same reason as Nick Wayne.
Correct. And Billy Starks looks like a home run with them. So I hope they definitely ink her, and hopefully she is part of moving on. And I'm assuming they had to because they brought her into the 0 Hour. So I think that it's just kind of like starting to like showcase her a little bit.
Well, it's like the whole Sky Blue thing. And also Kylan King back in the day, if you want to even go back in the pandemic, it just at the time, I think some of them were on the wrong side of who they hung out with. So they didn't get signed.
Gotcha.
Some were on the side of Thunder Rosa.
I don't know why people hate Thunder Rosa so much. I mean, did you hear Tony Storm? I mean, we'll talk about the media scrum in a minute, but
yeah, I just think a lot of things were blown out of proportion and it rubbed people the wrong way. I mean, that's what happened.
But they hate Thunder Rosa, man. Anyway, so then you had CM Punk. And man, these names, I remember. I don't know if you saw my
Shojima.
If you saw my video on my channel, but
I just go with last names only when it goes to Japanese wrestlers, and usually I mess those up too.
So again, what happened? CM Punk comes out. He got the boos. People were tweeting. People showed videos of him getting booed. People were also, there were some people who were out there supporting him. You had good reactions, so that was good. We already spoke a little bit about what I thought about at the end when he wanted to give Kushima the hand and acknowledge him kind of in a way. I don't think he should have done it, but I understand it now that you kind of put it in perspective that you rather get a reaction and kind of let the fans dictate whether he wants to be a bad guy or a good guy.
Because the thing, I mean, I go back to the whole Bret Hart thing. I think where they messed up with Bret Hart was when they made him a real heel. One, I don't think Bret Hart was a heel deep down in his heart. So it didn't come across good, but then also you're forcing something, and fans don't like to be forced. I get it. You get your John Cena's, you get all this stuff that gets force fed down, but fans now that wouldn't work these days. And that's why Cena got booed more times than he got cheered. Honestly,
yeah.
But it was noise. It was a reaction.
Then you had them announce the whole all out like full blown Chicago. They're gonna do everything in Chicago. That they're gonna have all out Dynamite,
and that's
Collision,
only
Rampage
because of Pepsi.
I mean, my question to you is: Are they gonna be able to have fans for all these shows? That's a lot of shows to attend.
No, they'll be there because again, it's a pay-per-view weekend, so people will be flying in. So I mean, honestly, I would make Dynamite live that weekend.
You mean Rampage?
I'm sorry, Rampage live that weekend. I would make Rampage live that weekend.
Yeah.
Why not? What the hell are you doing? Because most fans, when they fly in, the one thing AEW does good, and WWE does as well, but they make the weekend about the fans. They have things going on. They have the things and things like that. You know, all the meet and greets, a whole bunch of stuff that goes on in those. And sometimes GCW will do a card in the area. Some independents will do a cards in different areas, depending on where they're at. So I think they can do that. And I think, and I'm just going to go out on a limb here because of what CM Punk did on his first show back with the bag. And I think because MJF is going to be on Collision, they're going to start angling toward that being the main event at that show.
Okay. I like it.
You do Chicago. It's got to be CM Punk's got to be in your main event.
Of course.
What better way to do it than?
But you can't have CM Punk on all 4 shows doing main events. So they got to figure that out.
No, you don't. You don't even have him wrestle on any of the shows. You do the whole thing with him and MJF bickering back and forth leading into the match. Don't let them touch each other.
The other thing is going to be that Kenny Omega and the Bucks for that week. Man, interesting.
Fun.
Obviously you had Shibata, the 4-way fight. Shibata was out there. Orange Cassidy. I wanted Garcia to win. I thought Garcia was going to win. I thought it was the perfect time for Garcia to win a belt because all 3 of them had a
every time I think it's a perfect time to take the belt off Orange Cassidy, and I don't know what he's got pictures of Tony Khan or something.
I mean, he with that win, it was his 25th defense of his title. So I like Orange Cassidy, but I see you. But I just thought Danny Garcia deserved it. I mean,
and then if you heard Daniel Bryan at the end, I mean, Orange Cassidy's going to run with this for a while, I believe.
Yeah, because Daniel Bryan was also selling it, saying that he's a great wrestler and all that stuff. And then you had the surprise fight where there was no blood. Jon Moxley, the Combat Club, none of those guys bled.
I couldn't believe it. I was like,
I thought Eddie Kingston was going to bleed.
Well, there's a little bit of blood coming from the chest from all the chops.
Okay, now did you like the whole chop situation, or did you not?
Sometimes I think it just turns into like either that guy is very strong, or you hit like a.
All right, for you fans that did not see Forbidden Door, there's a scene where Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley get in the middle of the ring. And you know they're friends. They love each other, and they're buddies and stuff. But they had to face each other because obviously Eddie wanted to fight against Claudio, and he hates the living guts out of Claudio. So they start chopping at each other, bah, 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 and they go at it. And I like the way that they were bringing in the guys. And then even though they're duking it out, and still in the middle, you would see Moxley and Eddie Kingston slapping each other on the chest. So they did a good job on that. And at the end, Moxley, once he finished getting chopped left and right, he had to go to like the fans, I think it was. Somebody gave him some water and he put some on the chest. And I'm impressed. Eddie Kingston stayed in the ring and he kept wrestling, bro. And that.
Yeah, but see, that's a heel move to where you're selling it for the babyface. That he out chopped you and things like that. I mean, that's one of the things like that was the one thing I didn't like about that was because to me, after it got like, boom, boom, Moxley should have started selling a little bit more for the babyface to get the lead, unless he was going to cut him off. It just felt like it was like, dude, I get it. Both of you are tough as hell. But I mean, dude, for 5 minutes, I don't need to just watch you guys elbow and chop each other for 5 straight minutes while everybody else is doing everything around you. It's like, okay.
I mean, but still, I mean, their chests were red as hell. I was okay with it. I didn't think it was the greatest thing, but I don't think it was that bad. Because of the simple fact,
10 guys in a match, it's going to be a cluster F.
Yeah.
And that's what it was, but it was a good match. It told a decent story. And also it left a lot open in that story.
Yes, because remember Eddie Kingston
saved Moxley.
Yeah. So I like that. See, those are the little things that when you look at, you're like, okay, AEW's trying to get whoever they brought to actually start like Collision and I'm telling you, the Rampage show was really good too. Keep making that person write the whole story. Or if he's helping Tony Khan write the storylines, dude, keep that guy there because that person is doing a really, really good job. Those little tidbits.
Though, in those matches, look at who you have also in those matches. Moxley, Claudio, Eddie, the Young Bucks. I mean, the veterans from the Japanese team, not Suzuki wasn't in that one. Damn, who was
Ishii? Ishii was in it?
Ishii was there. Yes, I'm sorry. Ishii was there. And then the other guy was a young guy that trained with Moxley in Japan. So, yeah, but I mean, and then Daniel Bryan probably does a lot of the booking of the Blackpool Combat Club stuff. So then you have that. I just think, you know, when you have those guys there, sometimes you just got to believe in your talent and be like, okay, this is what the finish is going to be. We need to get this point across in the match. Go do it.
Yeah.
And it's that simple. And you have to trust that your talent is going to do what you ask them to do.
And Cap, you're asking who the Young Bucks are. They're the tag team of Matt and what's the other guy's name?
Jackson.
Nick Jackson. So they're brothers that literally they came up all the way to the top, and those are the EVPs for AEW. So they're one of the first tag team groups to actually start AEW with Kenny Omega and Cody Rhodes and all them. So when we talk about Kenny Omega and
being the elite,
and that's why they're called the elite. And again, I think one of you guys wrote it in the chat saying there's too many factions in AEW. I do agree there is a little bit too much, but you know they roll with it, you know. And also keep in mind, guys, they have, even though House of Black has had the belts for a while, but they do have a championship belt. So they tend to
sometimes I forget. I think they forget they have the trios title.
But AEW tends to have three guys together instead of just a tag team. So that's the reason. Toni Storm, she gets her nose broken by Willow, but she retains the belt. That was a pretty good
Willow.
Good job. Oh. Well, okay. Well, we'll talk about it. We got
strong style, baby.
We got our list. We got our list, and we're gonna jump to that very soon. Now, we move on. A couple more fights. We got the fight of the night, which I obviously.
Oh no, you're not. Wait,
I'm skipping.
Yeah, no, it was the fight of the night first. Yeah, you're right.
I'm skipping some stuff, but obviously, Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega, which was amazing. But again, I think AEW did the exact same thing that WWE did. God damn it, with Backlash, they put the wrong fight as their last fight. They should have never. They should have never had that early.
Yes, but you have to remember the story going into Forbidden Door was a match that people hadn't seen before, which was Daniel Bryan. You know, I almost said Natana against Okada. That was the match nobody, had seen before. I think they wrestled one other time at an independent in like 2004.
Yeah, but you're in Toronto. You're in Canada. Kenny Omega. You know you were going to get a pop.
Kenny Omega Ospreay 3.
But you had
Callis is getting involved. It's not even.
Look at that. You had all those factors, and you don't make it as the main event fight.
No, man, no.
You crazy, man. That's why those last two
let
fights.
Me ask you this, Mr. AEW. How would you feel if the NJPW United States Championship closed out an AEW pay-per-view with the NJPW guy, by the way, holding the title? Not an AEW guy. In the final match of an AEW pay-per-view, they're standing tall in the ring. Unless you're pulling an NWO angle, makes no sense, buddy. It's about making dollars.
Business, man. Business. You win some and you lose some. Some of those forbidden doors, you're going to see New Japan on top, and some of those you're going to see AEW on top. That's the way I look at it.
New Japan won what? The match with Jungle Boy, right?
Yeah.
They had guys on the five and Will Ospreay. What else did they win? Single wise. What else?
Yeah, because they didn't. Darby won with Sting in that group with Jericho. But okay. For me, man, I just feel that they missed the mark, especially if they thought it was going to go 40 minutes. Come on. Like, you should have. I don't care if Will Ospreay
Brian and them were supposed to go longer. He broke his forearm, and they called an audible. That match was supposed to go longer.
But before Bryan Danielson broke his forearm, can you tell me that fight was entertaining?
Yeah, it was pretty good technically.
No,
yes,
no,
it was a good match.
It wasn't. It wasn't better than the Will Ospreay Kenny Omega fight. It wasn't.
They're not gonna fly around, dude. It's two different styles of wrestling,
and that's the reason why
AEW. There's more ways than one of wrestling,
and that's the reason why
McFly.
That's the reason why you put that Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay as the last fight of the night.
You do not have New Japan Pro Wrestling leaving the pay-per-view with the title on an AEW pay-per-view, man.
It's a business. You both are working together. It's not the last time they're gonna work together. Is it gonna hurt? Is it gonna hurt AEW that Will Ospreay beat is Will Ospreay?
How do you know?
It won't. Well, I don't know, but
exactly.
How do you know?
So why am I putting your guy as the pay-per-view closes out?
But how is Will Ospreay winning the belt gonna hurt AEW? How? It's the same. They're gonna fight again, or if not, they move on. This is a one-off then. If that's the way you want to look at it, if they don't work together again, how is that gonna hurt AEW? I just don't.
Okay, let me ask you this, because you're a DJ. You're DJing a show. You're gonna bring somebody else out to close out the show?
If I am the headliner of the show, if I'm the biggest headliner of the show, I'm supposed to closing it out. But if I know I have another headliner with me,
they were never the headliner of the show.
That's the problem. That's my issue. They should have been the headliner.
Why? Because they're high flyers?
Because the simple fact that you know the story behind them. You know that they're in Canada. You had Don Callis in there. You had so many factors coming in. The only thing that was going on with Bryan Danielson and Okada was that this was the first time that they were fighting.
Can I tell you something? Do you know why CM Punk has an issue with the Bucks and Kenny Omega?
Why? Tell me.
The exact reason it happened at Forbidden Door.
What exact reason that happened? That
why when you are I don't know why they put a match in between the two.
Yeah, that was stupid as hell too.
But we'll get into that.
We both agree on that.
But if you know, okay, these guys are after us. Okay, their match is going to be more technical. You don't go out and do 600,000, close falls. You don't do all this stuff. That's again, as a show, you're supposed to be working for the brand, for AEW, for the show, Forbidden Door. You're not working for Kenny Omega. That's what happens on the indies. That's what happens on the indies a lot. You'll see a guy go out there and want to get everything in, all his stuff, and that's great. You just did that. Now we have 3 more matches that have to live up to that. And you can't do it.
Man, look, man, we both agree that match, that Darby Allin,
the best match of the night, yes, hands down. But again, you have to understand your spot on the card. And I'm not saying that, again, they could have done a lot of the same stuff, but you don't need to go 40 minutes and have 675 close pins. But you still have 2 matches after you.
That's true. I agree with you on that. I think sometimes it happens, but WWE does the same exact thing. They all do.
They do, but but the one thing is, and this is where I will always say, they don't let the wrestlers, except for like Roman and them, they don't let them have much say in the match. The producers produce the match because the producers have to answer to Vince McMahon if something is wrong. The producers are the ones that get fired, not the talent, the producers. And look, I've always said this is the great thing about AEW and a bad thing with AEW. Talent gets a lot of control, and maybe rightfully so, but also there's parts where you can't bring the reins back after you let it go.
Yeah.
And again, now you take it and you have him. He's got the EVP name. Look at the Young Bucks. Go back to the Young Bucks match. What did they do?
They barely did anything, man.
Nothing. Couple super kicks.
Yeah, they barely did anything.
That was it.
They barely did anything.
That was it. And I get it, man. Omega's super ultra talented. It was Ospreay too. But I think you could have condensed it a little bit more to where you still had match of the night. I don't think you could take that away from them.
Probably fight of the year.
If they would have went 20 minutes, I think they could have gotten it, there. But I just think that, that's the problem that I think some people, especially veterans, have with them because they want to go out there and be the star of the show, which everybody should. Don't get me wrong. But the problem with AEW is there's no ropes holding people back. In WWE, oh, you want to do that? Okay, you're not booked for the next 3 weeks. Sit at home, collect your, $35,000 a week, whatever. You're underpaid for.
My question to you is, man, is if that's the way it works, if that's the way it's gonna be run, the only way this is gonna eventually end is by AEW letting the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega go. Then
I honestly believe that that's in the works.
Wow.
I believe they will probably give them the minimum to keep them. But also the Omegas and Bucks know how it is in WWE too. So do they want to go there either? Or do they just want to go back on their own again?
Wow.
WWE's not for everybody, man.
No, that's true. That's true.
It's like that private school where, it's all males, all females, and you do as Vince McMahon says.
All right. We've been going at it for about an hour with AEW. I'm going to close it up with a couple of last things. So, obviously, some of the figures, they did a really, really good job when it comes to the figures. They grossed a lot, actually. They was the highest gross, the third highest gross show in Canada. Only WWE had two higher ones. It was, I think, 2 WrestleManias that were there before.
Bigger buildings, bigger venues.
Exactly. And then there was a full crowd. They almost sold out. I don't think they sold out completely. I think they had a couple.
It depends who you ask, man. And again, this is where I get everybody's like, oh, they only sold 13.6, not 14.1. I mean, come on, really? We're getting into 500 seats. I mean, if they said they sold 14.6 and the place was empty, then jump on them, man. But if they say, hey, it's a sellout and they only sold 13.6 instead of 14.1, really? You're gonna be like, oh, TK lying about that? Come on.
And then you have the other side pieces that we heard. Obviously, there was a lot of injuries that happened. Tony Storm broke her nose. Bryan Danielson messed up his forearm. He's out for a while.
Somehow is not injured after falling on his head.
And Sting some ways not injured either. Apparently,
after that thing, whatever the hell.
So it is kind of like a relief that they were able to get away with just the forearm of Bryan Danielson. But
he broke that on the elbow on.
Yeah, it was something basic.
Okada's dropping the elbow. He left his arm out, and Okada basically landed on it.
But let me ask you that: as a former wrestler, does that typically happen? Because Bryan Danielson said that you typically
bring your arms tight. And
no. What I'm saying is, do the majority of the wrestlers usually get hurt by something simple instead of something very acrobatic or something kind of insane? Because that's what Bryan Danielson said in the media scrum. He was saying, typically like a small move is what kind of eventually can hurt somebody.
Yeah, but also you get the spots where I say, when you look at the high flyer guy that came out in his ankle, as soon as you leave the ground, there's always that like you cringe, like you're just like, please land it. Okay, all right, sure, we can breathe. But I mean, I've seen people. Hell, I saw somebody take a snap suplex, which is probably one of the easier bumps, and blew out his back. Just the way he landed, just bam, and just like, he just knotted up and just couldn't go. He had to roll out of the ring. I've seen, I saw somebody throw out a shoulder by throwing a clothesline. So yeah, I mean, it does happen, and more than likely, most times, I would say probably 8 out of 10, it's probably something very simple. Hell, look at Triple H. He just planted his leg and blew out his thigh.
Well, remember this guy?
And Vince running to the ring and blew out both.
Remember who was this guy? Man, I forgot his name. It's not Psychosis. Is it Psychosis? What? His WCW when he throws himself off the turnbuckle, and he breaks his ankle. I mean his leg.
Sid Vicious.
Sid Vicious. There you go. Sid Vicious.
But again, that's a 300-pound guy trying to do a top rope one-legged kick. Like, bro, like at that point, I've been like, I'll just do a missile drop kick.
Hey, but
300 pounds landing on a leg, bro. You're like, I don't care who you are. You're not that doesn't work.
Vicious, yeah, so vicious. So it happened, and then the media scrum. I thought the last thing I want to talk about is overall the show, man. We had about 5 hours of wrestling, bro.
I also think that had something to do with the last 2 matches too.
5 hours of wrestling, man. And when I went to the FLA Live Arena, we went to Ring of Honor, which was the first hour. We had Dynamite, the 2 hours. Then we had Rampage, which was the fourth hour. And then they still kept going with another wrestling. And by then, I was leaving. I was like, I'm done, man. It's too much wrestling. I know that Forbidden Door was a pay-per-view, but man, 5 hours, Sean, that's excessive, man.
They've got to figure it out. And I get these, like, why not do it a 2-night event? And I get it that that's what WWE does for WrestleMania. But with Forbidden Door, I didn't see one tag team match. You could have FTR, the AEW tag team champions, against the New Japan Pro Wrestling tag team champs. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could have done, I believe there was more stuff that could have been done if you would have just broke it down and said, okay, we're going to do 6 matches this night, 6 matches this night.
That's a good
do
idea.
it a 2-night, especially for Forbidden Door, because that's.
But you can't do a 2-night thing because you have Collision on Saturdays.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Is like, then you make the Collision a lead-in. 8 to 10, do it like UFC does their 8 to 10 is the pre. Tune in at 10 a.m. to Bleacher Report and get your last 2 hours of pay-per-view, or last hour, or save a couple matches for it or something. I don't know, but
5 hours.
I just think 5 hours, man. And then you have that match, 45 minutes of just nonstop exhilarating action everywhere, and that's your 4th hour. And then you're going to end it with 2 slower matches, because you knew Daniel Bryan, that whole match was based on who was going to make who tap to be the best wrestler in the world. Like, it was nothing to do with high flying. And it just, it's like one of those things to where, it is what it is.
So with that being said, let's see if this works. I don't know if it's going to work. We're going to do our new segment, and obviously our new segment is something that we wanted to change it up on the program, and we wanted you guys to kind of have an idea of what we're trying to, like, we want to change it up a little bit. We've been going out for about an hour and 15 minutes of AEW. So we kind of want to go ahead and do something in the middle to kind of change it up, and also get the people who are on the comments chime in and see if they agree with some of our lists of what we think. So our list right now, obviously, it's the top 5, our segment, top 5 no debating list. So you can't debate with us, but obviously we want
you can debate with us.
We want you to debate with us, but you get the concept.
And by the way, Cat for Life, real quick, just to answer some questions.
Go for it.
Shane McMahon's recovering from an injury. He did something with his knee. When he came back, he blew out his knee. And then actually during that segment, you're right, with Snoop and Miz. And then Sid Vicious and Undertaker, they wore the skyscrapers after it was Sid Vicious and Dan Spivey. Dan Spivey got in trouble, and Undertaker, Mark Calloway, took over. And in the old famous words, Eric Bischoff did this with a lot of guys. You're not going to draw money. We can't draw money with you. Can't draw money with you, Mark. Sorry, buddy. Stone Cold, nobody's going to pay to watch you wrestle in black tights, Stone Cold. Or actually, Steve Austin, nobody's going to watch you wrestle in black tights and black boots. So that happened to a lot of people.
All right, so what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to name the top 5 female wrestlers of 2023. Right now, who are the hottest ones?
Our list.
Our list. So you got yours and you got mine, right? And now let's see. Is it?
I got your list. What do you mean?
Wait. Can you pull up what I'm sharing with you or no?
Oh, wait. I'm sorry, there's that.
All right, there you go. Let me see if it works. Yeah, I'm typing it in. All right, perfect. So what I'm going to do.
Oh, wait, hold on. I got to.
Can you make us a little bit bigger? I mean, people can still see us. Technically. Oh, I'm gone. Sorry, guys. This is what happens when we go live. I don't
think you can type in there, though. I don't
I can. Look, check this out. Look.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
That is so cool, right?
All right.
All right. So if you have your list, I'll type them in. Let me know if I'm typing them wrong, or I'll try to. If I'm typing them wrong, I'll correct it. But my top 5 female wrestlers, I start with my number 5, and that I'm gonna type them all in capital letters. Would be Io Sky. That's who I have as one of my number 5 right now. And the reason I got Io Sky as my number 5 is because I think Io Sky has been going in high mode. Like, she's doing a great job. You had her at Backlash through that fight against Bianca Belair. She's actually, if you saw Monday Night Raw this past weekend with the Money in the Bank, she's in the Money in the Bank. Momentum is up. I think they've been giving that angle where they want to go ahead and move her out and separate them from their group. So that's one of the reasons why I have Io Sky as my number 5. I'm gonna do my list first, or do you want to go one by one like that?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
All right, cool. Number 4, although maybe some of you will probably not agree with me, but I'm gonna go and say it's Bayley. And the reason I say Bayley is because Bayley has kept this group intact, and she is the head person of WWE when it comes to her group. Forgot her name of her group. What's the name of their group again, Sean? Bayley, Io Sky,
Damage Control.
Damage Control. There you go.
I could not remember it for a minute.
You see, I was so. If you guys remember, I always say I'm so bad with names. So she's been the leader of Damage Control, and by her being the leader of Damage Control, she's been able to, make the female division relevant again, man. And I honestly feel that there's a reason why Io Sky is getting better, because Bayley has helped her get to that next level. Damage Control is the reason why I have Bayley as my number 4. Now, my number 3, I know some of you guys are going to be upset with me, and I apologize, guys, but I have to add her on there. And the reason I say I have to add her on here is because even though Becky Lynch has lost some momentum, she's back at Money in the Bank. She's fought in WrestleMania. She's still relevant. If you guys watch First Take, she was at First Take today with Seth Rollins, and she did a phenomenal job on that show tonight. Becky Lynch is still a game changer in WWE, and I still tune in every single time. And if you look at what happened Monday Night Out, we'll talk about it a little bit more, but you could tell that they're focusing. They know that they still have something big when it comes to Becky Lynch. Sean, let me ask you something. Can you type on your end, or you can't type on your end? Do I have to type on your end?
Yeah, man.
Okay, no worries. All right, number 2. You guys are not going to like this, and I know you guys are not going to be happy with this pick. I know Sean is going to be upset with me, but it's Toni Storm. Toni Storm is the reason why AEW's women's division is starting to get better as well. And I like what she did in the media scrum. I think she kind of took it a little bit overboard because she was calling a whole bunch of people marks and stuff like that. But I thought that she did a good job with Willow. I think she did a really good job when she's fighting against, Sky Blue in the collision events. And I think she's done a better job. And she's a heel right now. And I know she hasn't had, and she is the AEW champion for a reason. I obviously thought that Saraya should have had it, but now I'm understanding why they gave it to Toni Storm, because Toni Storm has actually done a pretty decent job. And this time she's actually like the actual AEW. Last time they had given her that interim title, so she was upset at that. So I think she's done a good job. I think she's performing. I think she's selling it, and she's making a name for herself outside from her group with Saraya and this girl. What's this girl's name? I forgot her name. Ruby Soho. So, last but not least, how can I not go with this woman? There she is, sir. I'm not even gonna type her whole name because everybody knows her as Mommy, and it's Rhea Ripley, man. Rhea Ripley is number 1.
Rhea Ripley.
Oh, hold on. Let me change that. Rhea Ripley. My typing there. Is that better?
It's RHEA.
RHEA. You see? Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm here for you.
So Rhea Ripley, number 1. She has to be the top one. I mean, she's holding it down with the Judgment Day. She's the WWE champion, and everywhere she goes, she's gained so many followers in social media. How can you not pick her over everybody else? I mean, it's impressive. And that is my top 5 female wrestlers from Frankie Frezko.
I feel like I missed the assignment here.
Why? I mean, you could always change it.
Well, no, because I thought you said for 2023. I feel like you did it for like last week.
What? Get out of here. No, that's not true. Becky
Lynch
has been relevant this
My
week.
number 5 is Io Sky.
Okay, so I'm going to type Io Sky.
I
Okay.
don't know why. The same reason. I think that she's there. Number 4 is the NWA Women's Champion, Camille. She's held the title for over 700 days.
All right, hold on. How do you spell that?
Kamille. Camille.
Okay.
She's the NWA Women's Champion. Now, here's where I go a little bit off the thing because I was thinking 2023 from the beginning of the year to now. My
That's
number
fine.
3 was Jamie Hayter.
Okay.
And that was because of what she was doing before her injury.
Is that correct? Did I spell that right?
I believe so. I believe that's correct. Number 2.
Yep.
Mercedes Moné.
Oh.
Because I thought, again, the injury has sidelined her a little bit, but up until that point, she has shown that she can step out on her own and make some, ruffles there. And my number 1, of course, was Rhea Ripley.
All right. And we're going to put mommy there for you.
Yeah, Rhea Mommy. There you go.
So, guys, what do you think about our list? I actually, if you want to know the truth, I actually like Sean's list better than mine. I think you nailed it better than I did. I kind of be like, you're right. I mean, when you're talking about Jamie Hayter, she has done more before Toni Storm. We could have actually even put in Jade Cargill on there as well because Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
As well.
Again, but Jade, I think, did good for what she had. She was like the Rocky champion. Mickey was just feeding her the bums. Feed her the bums. Keep the title on her.
Yeah, and then also Mercedes Moné. You're right. She's been having a great run over there in New Japan.
I was debating because Chris Stanley and I thought again, but she just got back from injury, so I don't think she's done enough yet. But she was there. She's an honorable mention, as well as Willow Nightingale and Sky Blue. But that's more recency bias. Is the only reason I didn't add them there because I believe it was for more recency bias, not the whole year.
All right, but overall, I mean, if you had like our boy Stephen A. Smith, the list is fluid for both of us. It's fluid, so it goes both ways. Some of you guys might go with what Sean's list is. I actually intended to also go with Sean's list, but it's okay. It's okay. That's the reason why we have this. That's the reason why we did this segment, because we want to get different perspectives. And if we both had the same list, it would be pointless to have this segment. So let us know, guys, if you agree with Sean, if you think my list, I know my list probably sucks. Sean is making me look bad. So I made myself look bad.
There's not more AEW on there, man.
Nah, man, I gotta give respect to where respect is deserved, and WWE is amazing. I'm gonna stop sharing. Let me see if what happens when I stop sharing. Okay, good.
Well, no, I took it off the stream, but yeah.
All right, cool. But yeah, man. So that was our list. We'll try to do that more often. And
it's gonna be a weekly thing now. It'll go in between when we divide from WWE talk to AEW talk. We'll separate it with that little bit of conversation there. We'll also go out to the chat questions, which Noel Doubt says, "Nice mic, Frezko, shiny."
I change it up.
Frezko. And the Marlins 10-1 over the Red Sox. Let's go fish.
Yes, sir.
And let's see where we're at here. Somebody said that Punk's going to be on Dynamite tomorrow, but I looked at the thing. I didn't see it listed as.
I hope not.
There, Cruz Reeves back in a little bit ago said, "Win the dads and you get the family." I agree a little bit, but if you win the kids will talk parents into that. Let's see. While I'm venting, I'm getting tired of seeing Taz throw hissy fit when his son gets beat up. Hate when Taz commentates on Hook's matches. Actually, if you get a chance, look up Busted Open Radio and listen to what Bully Ray said about that. Because I thought I agreed with Bully Ray. I mean, Bully Ray nailed it a lot better than I could have. I thought it added something to that segment. In a way, I thought it took away from Hook. Because it almost was like a father watching over, like you felt that, again, and I go back to the whole thing about emotions. Mm-hmm. And I think this is the way to where Taz is going to work and start working with Hook again. I believe possibly down the road to see get Taz back toward the ring a little bit more than.
Wait, but as wrestling or just like being on his corner? Being on his corner.
I think they're in his corner again, like they used to. Let's see. Is the Attitude Era as cool as I think it was, or am I biased by my age, mid-30s? No, I think the Attitude Era was something that will never be duplicated because you can't do that nowadays because they probably canceled WWE, honestly, for some of the stuff they did.
And no
Think
doubt,
about this.
I'm in
Think
my
about
30s
this.
too.
Vince McMahon beat a guy that had a fake leg with his own leg. Think about that. In an arm wrestling match, he kicked his leg out, took his leg off, and beat Zach Gowen with it.
Yeah.
That happened in the Attitude Era. Not to mention all the risque stuff that we'll never be able to go here. But I mean, you had, he made what, Trish Stratus bark like a dog.
Did it, you had the rated
All
R
around the ring. You had to Kiss My Ass Club.
You had the rated R sex
Yeah,
live
the
or
rated
stuff?
R in the heart-shaped bed in the middle of the ring. I mean, look, man. I mean,
That was so good.
It was as cool as you think it was,
So
but it'll
good.
never be duplicated, which makes it even cooler because it's stuff you will never do. Think about this: the New Age Outlaws, and I get there's some people can do this and some people can't. They brought themselves to the ring. The introduction, everything that was all Road Dogg and
Jesse
then the
James.
whole introduction and everything. The whole train. I mean, think about all the
The
stuff.
whole train. Wow.
My God, I mean,
A
Vince
pimp with his hose.
That was when Vince was allowed to do whatever he wanted, and everybody was like, yes, 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 Vince, yes, Vince. But the problem now is, and we'll get into that now because that's one of the things I want to talk about,
Okay.
is you can't do that anymore, man. Nowadays, you can't do the ideas that he wants to do. And to be honest, some of them probably should not have been done. I mean, think about this. Shawn Michaels came back and said, I will come back, but I have found the Lord Jesus Christ, so I can't do any more of the risque stuff. He said, no problem. We'll go to live TV. And 10 seconds before he's supposed to go on, they're like, we need you to say this. And he can't say goddamn. He's supposed to say goddamn. He's like, they want to say some curse words. And he's like, I can't say that. And they said, well, say goddamn.
Wow.
He's like, I can't say that. 5, 4, 3. They count him down. They do the thing. He does it. He goes to church the next day. What do you think his pastor said to him? Sat him down in his office and he said, I heard what you did on TV yesterday. They took things and they used things against people, man. They used real life things. I mean, think about it. Hawk, rest in peace. When, the drinking problem, they brought that into the fold. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah.
A lot of things nowadays where you look back and you're like, whew. And same thing with WCW too. One night, I mean, they were going back and forth to see who could out risque the next person.
I remember The Rock when he used to have those promos and he would insult the hell out of Stephanie McMahon. That was insane. And everything he said was like, you can't say that nowadays.
Oh no.
Cannot say any of that stuff.
Nope.
You say that stuff, you're out.
He was a little sensitive.
You're out.
Think about what he did with Vicky Guerrero when he sung the song Eric Clapton.
Oh yeah.
And he's like,
so good.
Just
so
things
good.
that just cannot do that. But to get to where I wanted to go, Vince McMahon, it's been reported that he's starting to take a more hands-on approach again with creative. And it kind of started 2 weeks ago, and it's going on. Although I've watched some of the shows, and he's the problem is that it's not that he's making the changes. It's that Vince McMahon is notorious for changing it right before the show. When Triple H was writing the stuff was done by Sunday for Monday night and Thursday for Friday. Now they're getting changes when they get to the building again. This is an old Vince McMahon thing. Mm-hmm. And the wrestlers hate it. They want to know, okay, I'm coming in, I'm doing this and everything else. And it's one of those things to where, man, like don't mess up a good thing, man.
Now, let me ask you something.
Yep.
Did you like SmackDown this past Friday?
It was okay. It wasn't one of the better ones. But again, I think what saves it is the way they end it, because that's what you remember. The last thing you remember is what happens at the end. That's what they do with SmackDown. It's like we can eliminate everything as long as you remember the very beginning, which is usually Roman or somebody with the bloodline, and then the very end, which is usually the bloodline. Whatever's in between, You'll remember the good stuff, and because the ending, you'll forget the rest.
Well, I'll definitely forget that botch by Solo. That was a terrible, terrible botch that he had.
He's still, I mean,
that was a terrible, and then you can't do anything about it. You have to show it because that was the main thing.
Oh, that's life.
When he threw himself and he missed Sheamus bad, I was like, what is this crap? And then they call out the fight. I'm like, they call out the fight.
The problem was he should have moved Sheamus further over. He lined him up to where he was too close to the pole. So if he would have hit his head, he would have hurt Sheamus because Sheamus's head would have been right on that pole. So we had to go to the side and miss him totally, or you probably give him a concussion because you got to sandwich his head right on the side of that railing.
But
I don't know who was the positioning and everything. I mean, I know Solo dragged him over, but maybe he thought, Sheamus might have thought, hey, he positioned me where I'm supposed to be. Because again, Sheamus is supposed to be he's almost knocked out here at this point, by the way. So now he's getting put over there. He can't open his eyes and be like, he don't know if cameras are on him. You know what I'm saying? So I think Solo should have probably positioned him a little bit better, or maybe he thought he was positioned better. And then because Sheamus did slide a little bit, I don't know. So maybe once he got over there, and then it's too late. You can't run back over and let me move him.
But who would you blame?
Just go and make it look explosive, and that's how you got the oohs and ahs. Even though people knew he missed them, the oohs were because he just exploded through the damn barricade.
But who would you blame for the positioning, Sheamus or Solo?
I would blame Solo.
Okay.
I blame Solo. I mean, because at that point, you're the one dragging him over. Like I said, Sheamus can't open his eyes and be like, does he got me positioned perfectly or no? Oh, let me slide over now. Because what if a camera's on Sheamus and you see Sheamus, let me slide over here? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's one of those things. I would have to say it's on Solo but again, I don't know what Solo was seeing from the position. Because again, as he's dragging him over, he's not looking directly over him. He's dragging him. And then I think he thought his body was fine. And then maybe once he dropped him, he kind of let go of his arms. His body kind of went down because Sheamus is still selling that he's knocked out. So you can't just hold your body up being knocked out. Anybody knows they're knocked out, you go limp.
Yeah.
So, it's just one of those things where sometimes things don't work out the way you expect it to.
But like you said, everybody didn't care because you saw the Usos do the super kicks on it.
Yeah. That and you saw the big because he ran through he just ran right through the damn thing, knowing, But the problem was anybody that understands wrestling knows he didn't get him, and then you call the match.
Now, let me ask you this. Why is it Vince having so less good reaction when it comes to his storyline? Because like we were just talking about it. The Attitude Era, Vince was killing it. Vince was writing all this stuff and it was good. And now you got a Vince that whatever he touches is horrible.
You know what the funny thing about the Attitude Era was? Vince was telling Vince Russo, no, that's too much. Vince was the no guy. Now Vince has everybody's yes, because nobody wants to get fired. That's the problem. Vince, when Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe kind of left, again, because they got old, man. They got old. And Pat, passed away, rest in peace. But they were the ones that would, they had Vince's ear to where Vince, if they said no, it was kind of like, okay, all right, tone it down. Now you've got guys that are, and I'm sure it's not everybody. I'm sure there's guys there that know how to talk to Vince, Michael Hayes, some of those other guys. But at the same time, it's like, do I go to him and say, I don't know about this, and then feel the heat?
Why isn't he working hand in hand with Triple H? Why doesn't he sit with Triple H and say, let's work together and get this thing done?
I think there's more to that. And what's funny, I was on TikTok the other day.
Oh.
I watched an interview of Shane McMahon, and I forgot who he was with, but they asked him point blank, do you and Triple H get along? And he's like, we respect each other.
Well, I don't think anybody likes Shane McMahon, to be honest with you.
But it's like, but that's your brother-in-law. And then he was like, well, do you get along with your sister? And he's like, yeah, we got respect for each other.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think anybody likes Shane O'Mac.
No, but that's the thing with that whole family is it's not.
But Triple H is
you don't trust anybody in that family.
But Triple H is not originally from that family. Triple H is somebody who's been in that industry, who was a wrestler, and then he got married to Stephanie McMahon. So I
And
would
then he
assume
became
that,
family.
but I would assume that if you know that Triple H is doing the right thing, and people, because I know Vince is looking at these
Yes, but
comments
he
and
doesn't
saying,
do-
"Yo, people
You
don't
saw
hate
what
my
Triple
story."
H was doing with the black and gold brand.
Yes.
Vince shut that down quick.
Well, why does Vince do that?
Because I gotta tell you, Vince will kill anything that is not Vince's.
But stop being so damn naive, man, and get some help. Dude, there's nothing wrong with Vince
wrestling what
doing
it is
that.
today, man.
Man, but Vince, bro, Vince,
With the blood
dude,
and sweat of a lot of other people. But
I'm gonna tell you what happened. I'm gonna tell you why this happens.
go ahead.
It's that, and no disrespect to my older crowd, but it's that old mentality. You know how you get your parents become old, your grandparents become old, and you can't tell them anything, because if you tell them something, they're gonna be like, "You're wrong. It's my way or the highway." And no offense to Big O, but I know Big O's the same way. That when I go, like, I've had conversations with Big O, and I tell him, "Hey, look, they need to fire Phil Neville," and he's like, "No, it's my way." And that's and my dad is the same way. My mom kind of is it. But do you have that older crowd? And Vince is part of that older crowd. He's an old guy still running the show, and he doesn't want anybody's opinion. And sometimes you need to just listen. Just listen to somebody who knows. It's not, look at Joe Biden. We couldn't even talk politics. Dude, listen. There's nothing wrong with getting help. Nothing wrong. And it's so disappointing, man, because yes, you're right. Vince made the freaking WWE. He made it what it is. The guy is a freaking legend. But your time is winding down, bro. And you need to make room for the next generation. And you need to make room for Triple H. That's how I feel. And I'm sorry, I'm preaching. I'm doing like a Skip Bayless here. But I'm being honest with you. That's how I feel, man. He needs to let go. He needs to be a little bit more open-minded, bro. You need to.
No, he does. He does. But I think where I was going to get to was, I think what he's doing now is he's taking their ideas and he's just kind of changing little things like timing or where it is on the card. Like, I don't think he's really necessarily doing a lot creatively. I think what he's doing is, and again, this is also upsets a lot of people because people get used to being the first on the card. So they wrestle, they get dressed, and they're already gone before the show finishes. So they don't want to be third or fourth or fifth in the card. They want to be first so they can get in and get out. And I think what he's doing, I don't think he's making that much, because to me, not a lot has changed. And what's changed is like LA Knight. Vince didn't want LA Knight. There's a reason he was brought in as Max Dupree. Mm-hmm. They thought he was too old. He wasn't. Triple H brought back LA Knight. So to me, if Vince is taking back over creative, LA Knight's not getting this push that he's getting. You know what I'm saying? So I see minor things like how things are being put on the card kind of changing, but I don't see people getting pushes changing. So that's the only thing creatively. Vince is searching for immortality, Frankie. That mustache reflects. It does. My God.
Dude. And again, I don't want to offend my older
Eli
crowd.
Drake.
I don't want to offend my older crowd. I love my older crowd.
No, you already offended us. You shut the hell up, Frankie.
I love my dad. I love my mom. They're older.
Hold on. There we go. All right. So now I'm going to talk to the younger crowd. Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to go on Twitter and say, "Yo, I love my old crowd. I love them. I love them all."
Right, you got to send out apologies, man. No, but I found it odd because they said he's kind of getting more into. I don't necessarily know he's getting more into the creative side of things. I think he's just changing the rotation or maybe some things that are being said in the promos, because I don't see a lot changing as far as storylines go. Maybe it's setting up for further. Maybe we'll start seeing, and you trust me, you'll tell the difference once you see Vince McMahon from what is going on right now. I just don't see it as of right now. And I heard, and we'll get into it here in a minute.
What did you hear?
We might as well jump into it right now.
Juicy stuff.
No. We're going to jump into Money in the Bank, our predictions for Money in the Bank.
Eli Drake, yes, sir.
So I got the, yeah. You got yeah.
We got The Rock. We got LA Knight being The Rock.
Lost it.
He has the voice of The Rock, right? Everybody said that he has the same
There it
voice
is.
as The Rock.
Well, yeah, because that's what but that's always, even when he was Eli Drake, and that was the name I was trying to find. Thank you, Cap for Life. Like 2 or 3 shows ago, I was like, even when he was on the indie scenes and he was like, he cracks me up because he was on an interview with Chris Van Vliet. If you got it, Van Vliet, if you have a chance, go check that out. It's Eli Drake. Now you got me saying Eli Drake. It's LA Knight. And he talks about when he was Eli Drake and he was champion at Impact. He's like, yeah, apparently only 3 people watched the show. But yeah, I was a champion.
But I actually like Eli Drake better than LA Knight. I don't know why. I like that name.
He did it the same way, though. I believe he's like Eli Drake.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, same concept, but
yeah, it's just the same thing. It's just, again, when you get to WWE, like I was amazed how many people were allowed to keep their names this last go around. Like Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Kevin O'Reilly.
Isn't that their regular names? Adam Cole.
Yeah, but usually they make you change your names. I mean, Von Wagner was like one of the Bloom sons and stuff. Like they usually don't keep your names like that, which is why I also think they didn't get a big run on the main roster. Because when you look at it, the main roster, I think CM Punk and is one of the only one. I mean, even like hell, Bryan Daniels, they made him change his name to Daniel Bryan because the WWE wanted to own the rights to it,
Goddamn Vince McMahon.
Ultimate Warrior changed his name legally because of that.
Goddamn
WWE couldn't use it.
That Vince McMahon mentality, man. He wants to take over, bro.
Ooh, take over,
hate that
baby.
crap, man. He needs to
let
go.
I think it's gonna be like Men in Black. He takes off his head at night, and there's one of those little aliens in there controlling him. He's gonna be around forever. John Moxley has how many names? John Moxley, Dean Ambrose, I believe. Moxley was his original name on the independent scenes. Seth Rollins was Tyler Black.
Yes, I remember that one.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's one of the things they change it up. All right, Money in the Bank, July 1st, 3 p.m. main card start time on Saturday. Don't forget, 3 p.m. They're in London, O2 Arena. We will start at the bottom of the card, and we'll start with the Women's Tag Team Championship. Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, returning Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez, which is another one. Raquel Rodriguez is another one that could have been an honorable mention in our top 5, by the way. I think she's been having a kick-ass year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she has.
The Mandingo Warriors, Sting and Ultimate Warrior.
Ooh,
they were also something else. They were the Mandingo Warrior was the Ultimate Warrior in Texas. They were the Blade Runners. Sting and Ultimate Warrior were called the Blade Runners. Mandingo Warrior was when the Ultimate Warrior left Sting and went to Texas, and Sting didn't want to go, and he stayed in UWF with Rick Steiner and Eddie Gilbert, and they did there. They kept that going.
We did Sid Ballard against Carmella. That was a good fight.
It was
really good.
Yeah.
And we had just a quick say. Now you mentioned Sting. We had Joker Sting on Forbidden Door too.
Yeah, but he's man.
So
I am happy they keep him in trios and tag team matches. I'll just leave it at that.
Did you see him in the media scrum? He was saying that he didn't want to retire. That he's still going.
I think
and the way he trains.
I think he could go longer as long as they keep him doing this.
Yeah.
Don't do any single matches, man. I don't need to see single match Sting more. No more. Keep this and if you do a singles match, it needs to be a cinematic match to where it's kind of like just whatever. Because I could see that Joker Sting and the like what they did with Cena and Bray Wyatt.
Yes.
Cena through the years. I could see something like that with Sting through the years of all the Stingers. So all right, back to the women's tag team match. Baszler, Rousey, Morgan, Rodriguez. Who do you got?
I'll tell you this. I want Raquel and Liv to win. That's who I want to win. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey take it. I mean, they're going on this hot streak. They just beat the 2 girls that came from NXT and unified the belts. Ronda Rousey beat Raquel last night. So I it's hard for me to see that they just dropped those belts right now. So
Yeah,
I
and
go
then
Ronda.
also I believe that this was the time where Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler would have won the titles from Liv and Raquel because they would have been chasing them for a couple months, and this would have been them probably winning the belts. So I don't think they're going to take them off of them yet. Funnier things have happened because when I look at this card, there's only 3 title matches, and out of those 3 title matches, if you're going to take the title off any of them, it's going to be Rousey and Baszler.
Yeah.
If there's going to be a title change, I believe it's going to be this one. But I also agree with you. I don't know that they take it off of them this soon. So we'll leave it there. Cody Rhodes versus the greatest heel ever, Dominic Mysterio.
I would love for Dominic to win. On a side note, I think WWE better switch something up when it comes to him not talking on the mic. I think they need to grow him a little bit on that. And I think he needs to start talking to the people and telling them to shut up. And then I actually told my brother the other day, and I'm going on a side piece here, but I remember the Kurt Angle they used to chant him, "You suck," and then he came out and then he said, "You guys, what the hell's going on?" and stuff like that. And then he would go and he said, "You people are stupid, don't you get it? You can't stop calling me. I'm an Olympic gold medalist and all that stuff." I really honestly feel that they could kind of copy that a little bit and do that with Dominic Mysterio to make him better. But whatever, that's just on the side note. Cody Rhodes wins.
This is where I think they can extend this a little bit.
Nah.
I think Mommy can steal a victory here for Dominic Mysterio. And then they could keep this rolling for a little bit. Again, Dominic doesn't, no way in hell. Cody could be beating him. And then all of a sudden, Dominic does a little roll up, Mommy hooks a leg or something like that. I could see a small hiccup here. And I could see.
I mean, he struggled with Kozawa.
No. Again, that's the type of victory, though, I was telling you that he was going to be getting. Like, he's not going to be beating anybody. They're going to be beating him, and then Rhea Ripley gets involved, and then he small cradle 1, 2, 3, and then Cody's sitting there like, what the hell just happened?
But let me ask you something. What's after Money in the Bank? What's the next live event for WWE? Is it SummerSlam?
8 should be August, would be SummerSlam, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I don't think they would go that angle, because I think SummerSlam you're gonna bring back Brock Lesnar and that Cody Rhodes feud again. That's what I think it's gonna eventually happen.
Oh, then why not do this? Brock Lesnar, you beat him up every other damn month.
Mm-hmm.
Bring Brock Lesnar in there to set up for SummerSlam.
Now you
destroy him, and then Dominic struggles, puts an arm over him, 1, 2, 3, and then he wins that way. Because Cody doesn't need to win here. Cody's expected to win here. I think you need to have something for Dom. If you want to keep this silly heelish crap going on, this adds to that. Especially if, Cody's killing him, hitting him with the Cody cutter, the crossroads, and then Brock Lesnar comes out and, Rhea Ripley does something with the ref or something and they're in collusion somehow. I think that's what happened.
I just think that it's Cody's too big right now for Dominic to do that.
But I also think he's so big that the loss doesn't hurt him as long as it's
that's true.
Something
it won't hurt him.
I mean, something dumb and not Dominic can't come out there and hit him with a 619 in the frog splash and pin him.
And
he does that unless he rips off and he's got this metal plate and everything else or something.
Or Tony Khan goes to WWE and writes that storyline.
There we go. Tony Khan writes them off. All right, we got I'm going to go through the matches and then we'll go to the
sure
Intercontinental Championship. Gunther versus Matt Riddle. I don't think there's any doubt here. I believe Gunther wins this one.
I mean, this guy has a messed up ankle and everything. There's no way he beats him.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be another great match. I just think it's Gunther's title until.
Let me ask you this: Why in the world? Why did they like have to add the ankle situation? That's so stupid. I think it was unnecessary, man.
It's the thing with WWE, man. The babyface is all. Look at Balor and Rollins. Rollins got the injured midsection. Every time a babyface, they've always got an injury. Some they got to fight through. The babyface has to fight through it, man. That goes all the way back to Hulkamania, baby. King Kong Bandit crushed them ribs, went into the steel cage, ripping them up, shredding, eating the vitamins, saying the prayers, brother.
What we're gonna do is next time we have a debate and we're going at it. After that debate, I'm gonna pull an injury. I'm like, oh my god, my ribs.
That's it. And then I'll have to back off for a minute. Then I'll throw you through 16 tables. All right. Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa versus the Usos. This is the Bloodline Civil War. I don't know what you get if you win. It's a civil war. Maybe on SmackDown right before they'll kind of tell us. I mean, what if the Usos win? Roman has to come under. I mean, I don't know. It's a civil war, but it's really just a match, right?
It is. It's just a simple match, and Roman already lost once with Solo. I don't see Roman and Solo losing again. I say they beat the Usos, man. I say that the Usos have been having the upper edge the last couple of shows, so I don't see how Roman allows them to get another upper edge, especially on Money in the Bank. I say Roman Reigns and Solo take that win.
Yeah, I think something's got to happen here, one way or the other. I think we see a new part of the Samoan dynasty or something, or Paul Heyman, or so. I just think that there's more to this match than just being Solo and Roman beating the Usos. Like, it's just, you've got to add some type of intrigue, unless this is slowly going to be it. You've got to add that little bit of intrigue to be like, okay, didn't see that coming.
What can they do?
Let me tune in on SmackDown and see what happens next.
I wonder what they could do.
Well, that's also what I go through, because I'm like, I don't know what maybe on SmackDown we'll get a little inkling of something. You know, Rikishi shows up, or I don't know. I'm just throwing out names here, by the way. I'm not saying no insight, no nothing.
Well, you know, after a minute,
to me, there's got to be something more than just, hey, you guys are going to fight. Somebody's going to win. Somebody's going to lose.
That Rikishi angle, at first, when you mentioned it, I was so with it. I said, yo, it was awesome. But now I think it's too late. I think they missed that mark. So they have to switch it up some way, somehow, with something different.
Yeah. Unless somehow Rikishi talks Solo into turning on
Roman?
On Roman, yeah.
But then you're leaving Roman high and dry, man. It's like us leaving.
Remember, Cody said you're going to be a Roman with no reigns, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have nobody soon.
Sure.
And so everything's starting to come to fruition from what the guy has said there. So we'll see what happens, man. I just don't feel like, to me, if this ends with just Roman beating one of the Usos and that's it, kind of like, okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
To me, that would be I would be able to look at it and go, okay, this is slowly getting to be over. Now, could they do something on SmackDown to change their mind? Yeah, of course, you could add something there, but it just seems,
or like if they have like Zammy or somebody get involved in the fight, I think that's lame. I think they really got to
be somebody new. It's got to be somebody new you're adding, because the Sammy part ended, I believe, when Jay walked by him at SmackDown and they just kind of looked at each other, and then Sammy went his way and Jay went to the ring. And then that's when he kicked Roman on SmackDown. And I think that pushed, to me, ended Sammy's portion of that with the bloodline.
Yep.
World Heavyweight Championship match, Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. Seth Rollins has been getting foot stomped by the feet of Finn Balor for about 2 weeks now. The ribs are hurting, but somehow he's able to fight through the pain and beat Braun Breaker on NXT Gold Rush. Can he do the same in the O2 Arena to Finn Balor?
And he looked really good on First Take today too. I want Finn Balor to win, man. And you know what? At first I didn't want Finn Balor to win, but they did a phenomenal job with that promo last night of Finn Balor, bro. They got me. Dude, when they showed that and they reminded me of what happened, I was like, yo, I actually want Finn Balor to win. I don't think he's going to win, but I want Finn Balor to win. I'm going for Finn Balor, but I say, Seth, it's still too new for him.
The funniest part about it is I think the Judgment Day hurts Finn Balor. because everybody loves the Judgment Day and the way everything's going with that group is that, and then if you throw the title in there, then you start. I think it takes away. They don't need the title as a group, so I think that fact there is I think Seth keeps it just because one, like you said, it's new, but also I don't think nobody in the Judgment Day needs gold.
I would do this. Rhea Ripley has gold. Dom makes his way to NXT and gets the NXT title. And Finn Balor beats Seth Rollins and gets the title. You got all three of them, baby. All three of them.
I don't know. A clown show.
I don't know about Damian Priest. We gotta, then you know what?
Dom wins the NXT title. It's a freaking clown show.
What? That's the only belt typically he could kind of win now. Like, I would give it to him. Why not? Oh, hell yeah, I would give him the NXT belt. Hell yeah, in a heartbeat. And Damian Priest goes the next pay-per-view SummerSlam and beats Gunther and takes that Intercontinental belt. You got the gold. Judgment Day gold, baby. Judgment Day gold. Money right there for all you guys.
I don't even think Damian Priest is in Judgment Day come August.
Tough fight against Cody last night.
So I think we both go for Seth in that one. All right, we'll start with the women's because for some reason there's 6 women in the ladder match, but 7 men. Not sure why, but there's only 6 women. So it is Becky Lynch, Zelina Vega, Zoe Stark, Bayley, Io Sky, Trish Stratus. That is your women's in the bank ladder match. You've got the 2 faces, Becky and Zelina, against Zoe and Trish, the Trish Stratus Satisfaction Club. And then also Damage Control with Bayley and Io Sky. So we're gonna go, and maybe some of the choices are the same. Who you think is gonna win it, and your underdog to win it.
Okay.
Meaning because of the storylines and everything. When you put everything together, they might be the same, but
All right. So first and foremost,
maybe better off who you want to win it and who you think's going to win it. And maybe if they're the same person, then that's fine. But
okay. So yesterday kind of ruined it for me. I'm not gonna lie. I had her on my list. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about Becky Lynch, bro. And I just think because yesterday they had Becky Lynch walk right past Rhea Ripley, I think at first I was 100% sure that she was not going to win this. I was like, nah, man, she's not going to win it. She's still great. She doesn't need the belt. She doesn't need Money in the Bank. Yes, she hasn't won the briefcase before, but it doesn't matter. But because of that promo, I honestly feel she's going to win it. Now, who's my underdog who I wanted to win? To be honest with you, there's 2 of them. I really want Io Sky to win it, or I want Zelina to win it. I actually like what Zelina did yesterday as well, and I think she's done a really good job, especially with the whole backlash. And I like that she's talking in Spanish, baby. Yes, talk in Spanish. Let the people know that she is from Puerto Rico. Sell that character. Sell it, baby. You're Puerto Rican.
Sell it,
you're gonna sell it all the way. You can make it big. Yes, you said it right. Yes, you sell it that way. And
right. Don't say nothing about LWO though, because he'd be a loser.
Yeah, don't say anything about LWO.
Yeah, LWO, Let the guys handle that.
Yeah, I know she mentioned Escobar. That's nice.
Mention them by name. Don't call them the LWO.
Yeah, those
guys over there, Escobar and all them. Yeah, still use the LWO name.
But those are the 2. My underdogs are going to be Io and Zelina, and then obviously I think the one who's going to win is Becky Lynch.
All right. Well, here's the one I think is going to win it, and the one I want to win it, I believe is going to be the same person. I believe Io Sky wins the women's Money in the Bank. And here's why. I believe the whole thing that happened last night was to set up for that little pay-per-view in August, SummerSlam, which Becky would not need the Money in the Bank contract for.
Good point.
So I believe you may end up seeing Mommy come out and cost Becky Lynch the title, the Money in the Bank briefcase, to set up for them to fight at SummerSlam.
Good point.
Yep. And I think Io Sky would be the one to win it to me. Now, knowing WWE, we're going to see Trish Stratus go up the ladder and win it. Or Zoe Stark win it and hand it to Trish Stratus, kind of like Luchasaurus and
Oh, we didn't talk about that. We could talk about that next week.
All right. So I'm hoping. To me, I think Io Sky deserves. I think she showed what she can do, and I think that might have won her the briefcase. Honestly, I think that might have put her in the line for that briefcase. And then I think it's going to be her and Bailey, and Bailey's going to be like, "All right, we're going to win it," and then or Bailey might try to hit her first, and then she knocks Bailey off, and then also that'll start the friction between the group just falling apart. Also,
Good.
So men's Money in the Bank. Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, L.A. Knight, LWO, Santos Escobar, Butch, Damian Priest, Logan Paul. I mentioned a couple low names because I don't believe they're just there as fillers to catch people as they fall off the ladder.
Yep.
For you, Mr. AEW, who is the men's Money in the Bank winner on Saturday?
Well, look, you just reminded me of something, and you just told me, which your story nails it. I honestly feel Becky Lynch doesn't need it anymore. So I'm looking at, out of those guys, who doesn't need it? I don't think Logan Paul needs it. I think Logan Paul is gonna be eventually fighting wherever he is. I honestly don't think that Eli Drake needs it. He doesn't need it. LA Knight. He doesn't need it. I honestly feel that he's growing on his own. I think he's doing really well on SmackDown. I don't think he needs it. Santos Escobar and Butch, whatever. Ricochet, maybe here or there. These are the two that I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about Damian Priest and I'm thinking about Shinsuke. And I'm gonna go out on a limb. And I'm going to say that Damian Priest wins the Money in the Bank. My underdog, out of all those guys, would be probably LA Knight, if they feel like they need to give it to him. So I would probably say LA Knight. So I say that the winner is going to be Damian Priest. And if I had to put like an underdog, it would probably be LA Knight who wins it. Like crazy wild card would be Santos Escobar or Butch. But yeah, that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I think Logan Paul and Ricochet do some crazy thing and just take each other out of the match. On this, I believe that for me, it was down to two guys, LA Knight and Logan Paul. I think Logan Paul, they can just throw anywhere. He doesn't need it. You're right about LA Knight not needing it, but I think it adds to that character a little bit. LA Knight, when he can just come in whenever he wants, pick his time, pick his place, and strike. Now, here's the one thing that I heard, and again,
oh, you're cheating.
Half of what you see and nothing of what you hear. The men's cash-in is winning the title. The women's cash-in will not win the belt.
And right now it's 100% that the women have cashed on the Money in the Bank and won the championship belt. That's 100%. Yep. Mm-hmm.
The story is that the winner of the women's Money in the Bank will cash in and lose.
Wow.
And the men's will cash in and win, which to me takes away some of that underdog to me, because I don't see them giving Ricochet a title.
See, you're cheating. You're listening to these.
He gets a title. So I believe LA Knight.
It makes sense, yeah.
LA Knight to me will win it, because I just think Logan Paul doesn't need a title, man. Here's our heavyweight champion, Logan Paul. What does that do for anybody?
Now, question for you is, if he's supposed to win the belt, which belt does he win? Does he beat Roman? Does he beat
it's
Seth?
It's Seth.
Wait, does he beat Gunther? Does he beat Carmelo if he still has the NXT belt?
See, I think if you're LA Knight, you're going for a heavyweight title. Now, Carmelo could be an interesting one if you want to do the NXT thing. If they do those three shows to be, their own brands, LA Knight could go down there. Carmelo Hayes we saw on Raw. So they might be, maybe that's the chance to switch it. Boop. You never know there, but it's not going to be Roman. I don't think whoever wins it cashes in on Roman. But again, you could cash it on Seth, or I don't know that you can do all that work and then cash it in for an Intercontinental title.
Well, remember they didn't they once they've done it a couple times when they've gone after like outside of the main heavyweight belt, right? I think they've done it before. I think the last Money in the Bank. No, the last Money in the Bank was Austin
Otis.
Theory.
Yeah, Austin Theory. Yeah, I'm sorry. Otis
the
was one, but he lost it to somebody in a match. That was when
Wait, it was Austin Theory. Austin Theory was trying to cash it on Seth Rollins when they had the USA belt.
Yeah, he was trying to cash it on everybody. He kept getting beat up.
Yeah.
As soon as he went to cash in, he'd get hit or something. And yeah, because he was going to cash it in on like every belt for a while, and it was there. So yeah, and then the one thing is that I think that because to me, with everything that he's done, I think LA Knight, I think he's earned the respect of some of the guys higher up. Not necessarily Vince, but like Triple H and everything else. When you watch him, I think it like this might be the time where they're like, look, cash it in, hold it for a little bit, and then lose it right away. I don't think he holds it long. I think he's going to be a transitional champion, meaning he'll cash it in, beat Seth, and then they'll put it over to where Seth doesn't lose to any. Seth loses, but it's because he's already been beat up. And then, the Money in the Bank is not really a loss to a title. It just means,
But what about Shinsuke? Shinsuke's a wild card, man.
He's a wild card. And that's why I said, like, if they want to go for a veteran guy,
yeah,
Shinsuke's that guy.
When I
read that they're going to win the title, I don't know if they're going to put the title on Shinsuke. I could see them doing it for LA Knight right now and then dropping it to somebody else and then
what?
Him in that picture.
LA Knight could go after Austin Theory's USA belt and beat him and get that belt.
Good.
That makes sense. I don't know how you could get the belt from Seth or from Roman right now.
Roman's no touch. That's you're not touching that. But Seth, I mean, again, you're watching him get his ass whooped every week. I mean, even at this match, Finn Balor's already torn up his midsection. You do all that. LA Knight's only got that quick finisher. He runs in real quick, cashes in real quick finisher. 1, 2, 3. Seth's been getting beat up all night. You don't have to cash in at the beginning. You don't have to do the whole thing where I'm cashing it in and I want a match during SummerSlam. No, you can cash it at the end.
Kind of like The Miz, right? I think The Miz
even Seth Rollins cashed in during the match and pinned Roman when it was Roman and Brock at WrestleMania. So
didn't The Miz do that too? Where I think he got it from Bobby Lashley.
I think he got the one time he got it from.
I think he got it from Lashley, and then Lashley
was after the match. It was after the match that he got it. I know Ziggler got it after the match from Alberto Del Rio.
I love Captain Life, Eli Drake. I love it.
So no, I mean maybe dude. To me, if you win that briefcase, you cash it in for the gold.
The thing is that those two guys are too big, right? See, I get Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns we don't want to talk about, but Seth, he just won that belt. How can I know he wins it and then he loses it and then he wins it again? I think it's too early. It's too early for that. I think you got to keep running with him being the champion. That's why I honestly feel he should go after Austin Theory, and that will help Austin Theory even a lot. And Eli Drake, aka LA Knight. And LA Knight can make a big star being the USA champion, and it becomes a feud between him and Austin Theory. That's a good feud, man. I like it. But you're right. He could go after Seth and then lose it. But I just don't.
And Captain Life said it right here. LA Knight is 40 years old. Clock is ticking for him. That's the only reason I'm thinking. Like if now is your chance, and again, you do it in kind of a slime ball way, which LA Knight. That's the thing where I was telling you. Whereas, tell me if LA Knight's a face or a heel. That's what I'm saying about CM Punk. Let the fans dictate. He'll go out there and he does his spiel, whatever, and then the fans boom or cheer him. So it's one of those things where, man, I think with the age, like I think if he's like, whatever, Ricochet or somebody like that, yeah, then you cash in on the US title. Maybe Ricochet. I mean, at that point. If you're going to do a U.S. title cash in, I almost believe Ricochet or somebody like that.
I just don't want LA Knight to win it and then immediately lose it. I would like
to lose it, but probably the next big pay-per-view he would. That's why I think he would cash in at a big pay-per-view.
Yeah, like a
Lose it
SummerSlam or
next,
something.
he'll have it for 2 months and then lose it at Survivor Series or something.
See, I wouldn't want that. I would want him to hold it a little bit longer than that. But
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It just depends on how you have him lose it. Like if you set up a triple threat match and he's not the one pinned, so technically he never. Again, that's one of those things where, he's not. He didn't get pinned, but he loses the title. I can live with something like that. I don't want him to get cheat to win, not cheat to win title, but cash in the money in the bank briefcase and then lose it by getting pinned legit. I agree with you there. I think you lose something from the thing if you just go out there and you cash in and then a month later you lose it straight out. You never should have been champion. Yeah. That's what I say. All right, so we've got Bratzer just jumped in. He said, "What's up, guys? Jumping in late, but what a great pay-per-view Forbidden Door was. Nice mic, Frankie, by the way."
Yo, I'm getting mic compliments tonight.
You are, man, for both of them, the AEW and now the WWE. Why don't you put it upside down and do like the Miz one? Miz TV.
Miz TV.
Carmelo
yeah, I was gonna. Oh, he beat him.
Yeah.
That goes. Man, I wanted him to lose because I wanted him to make the move over to the Monday Night Raw.
No, dude, if they're really legit about making NXT a third brand, they're gonna have to keep some of these guys there, man. I think they're doing pretty good. Again, he beat Breaker. Now he's beat Corbin. I don't know who they're gonna bring in next. But
or they could put Mustafa Ali against him.
Yeah, Mustafa Ali's down there now, so we'll have to see, man. There's a lot of I'm waiting to see because NXT at the end of the NXT, they always somebody's gonna attack them or something soon. I'm sure.
One thing I don't like about NXT, and I'm sorry to say this, I don't like the fact that the camera's so close to the ring. I wish they would.
How small that place is.
I know, but I wish they would back it up a little bit. That annoys me. Like when I was watching the Seth Braun Breaker fight, I was like, man, why is this so goddamn close?
Because you're used to the big arenas. This is
yeah.
You know what's funny? Like I used to love championship wrestling in Florida, and then I found out it was taped like in a warehouse, and like they had like 2 rows of chairs, and I'm like, it's still badass, but it's like I didn't know it was that small. Like 30 people filled that place. That was it, but it was so loud because it was inside a little warehouse, man. And then I look at what NXT is here, and they've got they probably fit. I don't know, maybe 200.
Is that how small it is?
It can't be much more than 2. I'm looking.
When we went to CCW, that's bigger than CCW's area where they had the event, right? That's definitely bigger.
Oh yeah, because they've got a bunch of seats. They're about 8 rows, 9, 10 rows up.
I could probably hold like about 2,000 people, maybe.
I wonder what's Capital Wrestling.
That's a good. See, but that's one thing it bothers me. I'm so picky about stuff like that. I'm like, yo, why they zoom in so close on the damn wrestling? Like they need to push that camera back or do something about it. Like do a wide range or something. I don't know, but it just annoys me a couple times when I'm watching some of those fights. Who's out there? Who?
Braun Breaker just attacked Shawn Michaels' office.
Oh Lord. They need to move Braun Breaker or Carmelo to Monday night and then bring one of those Monday night and then put Dominic Mysterio to NXT, baby. Yes. Get that belt from Carmelo. Oh, that's why I know the chat believes in me that Dominic Mysterio winning the NXT belt would make such. And you guys know that I don't like NXT that much. I'm starting to like it. But if you put Dom in NXT, I'm gonna become the biggest NXT fan in the world, bro.
So you're moving Judgment Day?
No, he carries the belt from NXT and Monday Night Raw from time.
Oh, that's right. You're that guy that doesn't mind belts just everywhere, right? Everybody gets a belt.
Well, Dom deserves one. He doesn't deserve to be Cody at Money in the Bank, but he definitely deserves the NXT belt. And like I said earlier today, he needs to freaking stop. He needs to do more in that mic. I'm telling you, if you haven't seen it, it's been a while. That Kurt Angle, when he was saying you suck, and he kept coming out and he was like, screw you guys. And then he was like, you guys are so stupid. That's what Dom needs to do, bro. Stop just with the little, hey, the mic, and then he just stays quiet for like 2 seconds, and then, okay, yeah. And then he'll try to talk again, and then, and then Rhea Ripley gets on. I'm like, no, man, grow some balls, man. Tell the people to shut up. Tell the people to be like, yo, if you guys don't let me speak, I'm walking out of the ring. Screw you guys. And just walk out. They'll even hate him even more for doing that. I'm telling you, yo, make me write that storyline for Dom.
But
Dom,
you're being Logan Paul now. Logan Paul always has to talk. Shut up, people. Shut up.
No.
I don't want to hear you.
Because
Dom hasn't to see me.
Dom hasn't said anything. How long has he been going now?
Exactly.
And he hasn't said
Guess
anything.
what? What happens? Has anything changed? Are they booing him any less?
No, but it's getting a little bit tiring. They better switch
For
it
who?
up.
For you, because the fans aren't getting tired of it.
Somebody in the chat agree with me though. Somebody in the graph. I saw that when the chat was like, "Yo, I agree with you."
Give
Frankie.
Dom something already. He's starting to become an Xbox.
Yes, Cap. Yes, sir. See, I'm not the only one, man. And I didn't think about it until yesterday when they did it again, and I was like, okay, it's gonna kind of getting a little bit old, man. You gotta move something. You gotta change it up a little bit, bro. Change it up because it's getting a little bit old. I get the booing.
Everybody wants it until you get it, and then you're like, oh, put it back, put it back, put it back, because it's not going to be what you think it's going to be.
I'm not telling him that he has to talk every single time, but just grow some balls a little bit and just say, yo, shut up. Let me freaking speak. If I'm not going to speak, I'm walking out of here. And then mommy's like, don't worry, Dom. And then, you know what? For the first time, Dom goes to mommy and is like, mommy, you know what? Mommy, I got this. I got this. Everybody shut up. If not, I'm walking out. I'm done with this. You guys have been booing me for weeks, for months now. I need to get out of here. You guys want to boo me out of here? You know what I think about your boos? This is what I think. He throws the mic and he walks out. And everybody even boos him even more because they're like, holy shit, he actually got some balls.
I think that's the way it's going to go.
It will, if they do it the right way.
Okay. If they do it the right way? What is the right way, Frankie?
I'm telling you, they got to coach that kid.
Does Dom really sound like he could get on a mic and scare somebody?
It's not about scaring, man. It's about creating beef. It's creating beef with the fans.
Fear into me for me not to talk back to you. Because if Dom said that to me, I would slap him right in the face and be like, okay.
You're getting a reaction.
But that's not what you want with that character.
Yes, you do. You want that.
You don't want nobody challenging Dom.
You want people to go ahead and hate him even more.
I want Jack Nicholson on the fence. I don't want Dom being a kick-ass heel.
We're not gonna have this conversation again. He should win the NXT belt. He should say something. Walk out. I'm done. Done. Shauna's gonna kick me out of the stream. We just don't see eye to eye with that character, man. I'm telling you. You think I got you drinking your lemonade.
That was a shot of whiskey right there. God, dealing with you, man. Good God, I'm gonna chase with a Gatorade.
You gotta put a chaser, baby. Chase it. Gotta chase it.
Oh God, dealing with you, man. Good God.
I love you, Sean.
But man, I mean, there's nothing about Dom that's like he's con dumb. There's a reason he's con dumb. Put it together.
It's gonna get tired.
Put it together. It's for your protection.
It's gonna get old, man.
Okay.
It's gonna get old.
It's not, man. It's not.
It is, man. Watch.
It's not. It's made mommy. I mean, people, dude.
It's gonna get old, but like I said, we don't see eye to eye when it comes to his character.
What happens? What's wrong with your phone, Cat for Life?
You know what my brother said, and I was having this conversation with my brother. I already cursed, but he should be like, shut up, and then he should say putos to all the people. But I don't think he could say that. PG-13, but that would be so amazing if he said that. If he said, shut up, putos. Oh, yes. So I'm growing some balls. God damn it.
But Dom's not supposed to have balls. Mommy has his balls in the purse.
But growing some balls with the fans, man. With the fans. It doesn't mean you could still give him like shitty fights and he's still gonna lose or win them by being shady. But bringing that whole like crowd, him against the crowd even more, man. Even more. Like he you know what? It's gonna come to a point where I would prefer him. Like if he's gonna wrestle the fans instead of wrestling his opponent. That's how big I would try to.
You want to be Andy Kaufman.
Enough said.
Performer of the week.
Performer of the week is, I don't know who chose it. I think it was Tony Khan, but Bryan Danielson, when he came out, it's the final countdown. Hell yeah.
That's why they can't fire. They had to fire Fuego del Sol. They can't afford him anymore. They had to pay that for the one sign.
They fired Fuego del Sol for real?
Yeah, they didn't re-sign him.
Damn, he's gonna be at CCW.
Well, they had to be able to get the final countdown.
I'll be there on Saturday, guys. Saturday, CCW, Bash of the Brew. Hi, Leo.
Isn't Bash of the Brew, man? Damn, every time they're here, it's Saturday. Damn.
I'm gonna go with a friend of mine, along with my brother and a couple of family members. I will. I'm gonna try to see if Nelio. I'm gonna talk to Nelio, see if he could say, because okay. So it's one of my brother's girlfriend's father's birthday. So I'm gonna see if I could tell Nelio, can one of the wrestlers say happy birthday out loud for the fans? I hope he does it. That'll be so cool if Nelio does that for me. Nelio, if you're watching, do it for me, please. Do it for me. But yeah, I'm gonna go. We're gonna go. We're gonna party before, and then we'll go to the rest of it. But yes, whoever did that, Tony Khan or Daniel Bryanson, I know Daniel Bryanson was upset, but that was amazing when he came out that song.
Tony Khan did it. Tony Khan.
So he made the right choice. Great song. That's my performer. Tony Khan picking the right song for Daniel Bryan.
All right. My performer of the week is Dominic Mysterio.
I think you're doing that to get me upset. You're doing it to get me pissed.
Yes, I am.
Come on, man. Out of all the weeks, you decide to pick him today?
Dominic Mysterio.
What did he do to deserve performer of the week? Stay quiet?
What?
What did he do?
He had a great match with Tozawa.
Yeah, great match. He struggled against the guy. Okay.
It's a show, man. It's a show.
He struggled with Tozawa.
He is coming into that character. And for me, Dominic Mysterio, only belt he needs to hold up his pants. That's it.
Struggled with Kajawa. That's all I gotta say.
And now he's heading down the roads to take on Cody.
Look how much sense does that make? They put him to go against Kajawa, and then now he has to fight Cody Rhodes. Like, that makes
I'm not tipsy, bro. It was really water. I got the catastrophe.
No. Cap, you're right. Sean is tipsy. For picking Dominic as his performer of the week after that foolishness that they did with him on Monday.
The fact that it makes you mad.
Foolishness.
The foolishness. That's foolishness. That's foolishness.
Foolishness. Guys,
have a guy that has a low-key voice try to be tough.
Not tough. Change it up and have some balls and do something. Be relevant besides just being on the damn mic and getting booed.
My 15-year-old daughter has a deeper voice than Dominic Mysterio.
And does she talk back to you from time to time?
She's 15. What do you think?
Does she talk back to you? Yes, she does.
Yeah, but she knows how to take
exactly, just like Dominic.
She knows how to take a work punch too, so we're good.
She's just like Dominic Mysterio. She'll talk back the same way he needs to talk back to that crowd. God damn it!
Jesus Christ!
How is
Cap for Life says Cody Rhodes needs to get in a 3-way match with Theory and LA Knight. Yeah, I mean, they got to do. They got to get him whatever they're going to end up doing with him till next WrestleMania, I guess, right? Because the payoff's got to be WrestleMania. I mean, it should be before that, right?
I think it was.
He can't win Royal Rumble again.
I think Chad said that Royal Rumble. I thought that was a good idea to probably go. He loses either he could win the belt in Royal Rumble. No, he can't win the belt in Royal Rumble because then the Royal Rumble winner usually goes to WrestleMania. If he wins it, then he could lose it in Royal Rumble sometime around Royal Rumble. That would be long enough in my opinion for LA Knight. But
I'm talking about Cody. The whole Cody story.
Cody's gonna win.
It's gonna culminate, I think, at the next WrestleMania.
Oh yeah. I don't.
Whatever they end up doing, if it's the Seth Rollins Championship, if it's Roman, if it's whatever, I think that's so. You're gonna have some things where he's gonna have to be involved in some of this other stuff to where, 3-way matches might be the way to go because then he doesn't have to lose. Bronson Reed, of course, dude, he's awesome, man. That dude, he's going to be in that unique position of what the hell do you do with him?
I don't think you need to give him. I don't think he needs to be fighting eventually in the long run for a heavyweight belt. But I do see him probably going and winning like an Intercontinental belt or winning the USA belt. I think he gets to that level.
Yeah, and then once he gets past that, then he can be like that stepping stone to the baby faces going for the heavyweight title. Kind of like how it was set up for when you fought Hogan, you'd usually fight before you fought Hogan, it was always the baby face right before him, whoever it was. It was Macho Man for a little bit, then it was Brett, then it was, there's a whole host of people that set you up to launch you to face Hogan. And then same way when others got the belt too. So, all right. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of the show, the 2.5-hour marathon. Chad, Cap for Life, no doubt. Karen Joseph, Bradster. Try to do this as quick as I can, no doubt. I think I said you as already. Man, we appreciate all of you guys. Nicholas, appreciate you, my man. Karen said, B. McD, appreciate you. 2 a time as always. My dad, of course. Dolphin 5413, Cruz Ruiz. Nicholas said you already, and I think we're getting there. Joe Romano, this Friday night AEW show like Sunday Night Heat? Sort of, yeah, but some of the Sunday Night Heats were live doing right before pay-per-views. They used to go live on those shows. Nicholas Colmenares throws in casual fans won't know if it's taped or live. For sure. Hardcore knows. But see, that's where I think you're wrong because it says on the thing it's not live on your TV guide. Anybody still have TV guides? Am I the only one?
Wait, the TV guides on the little book?
Yeah.
You crazy. They still make those?
Yeah. Says recorded. King Mahi Carlos. I'm just kidding, man. I haven't had a TV guide in like 12 years. Terry, EWD Jr., and of course, Mr. Frankie Frezko. Thank you, sir, as always, for all your great insight, except Dominic Mysterio.
One last thing before we let go. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Sean. I know Sean is going through some throat issues. I know you were hurting a little bit this morning, and we spoke about this before we went on. So I appreciate you sticking around and going ahead and keeping up with my craziness. I was a little bit too I skipped Bayless today, so I apologize. But thank you for being a trooper.
Non-stop about this damn Dominic Mysterio.
No, we're talking about AEW. I went hard on AEW. My rant.
It was awesome, man. No, but AEW was the talk of this weekend. I mean, it was Forbidden Door. It was Rampage. It was, leading all the way up to Forbidden Door. This weekend is Money in the Bank for WWE. But again, Forbidden Door is one of the, I guess, the 5 pay-per-views now. They do a little bit more than 4. So they've added a 5th now. So, but, it's one of those things. I mean, dude, I think they did good, man. Again, a lot of people sit there and I like wrestling, man. I'll sit here and mess with Frankie about Mr. AEW and all that stuff, but it was a good show. It was a decent show. I just realized Frankie talking into a WWE mic. Yeah, dude, now he's Mr. WWE. We're just going to change you. You're going to be the chameleon.
I like it. That's my new nickname, the chameleon?
You're the chameleon, man. You're Mr. AEW when we do AEW, and then I'll tell you, Mr. WWE, Frankie Frezko.
As long as you guys don't call me Vince McMahon or Tony Khan, I'm fine with that.
Oh my goodness!
Like 2 of the complete opposites, right?
Please hit the like button before you leave. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notifications. Of course, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm at Sean_Stanley11 on all of them. Please give me a follow. I'm at Sean Stanley Sports Talk on YouTube. And Frankie Frezko, where are you at on all these channels?
I'm at Fresco Music on IG, Facebook, and on Twitter. And then obviously, you guys, I don't know if you've seen, but Frankie Fresco's YouTube channel. I actually am posting some stuff. I appreciate it, Sean. I saw that. So if you guys, I'm gonna be putting like also like takes of the show and try to have some guests and try to do like I know me and Sean didn't do the predictions of Forbidden Door, so I went ahead and did one myself and stuff like that. And if you guys can help me out with subscribing as well, and if you like the content, let me know. I'm gonna have guests, people you know, me, people you don't know, and you never know. Maybe some of you on the chat will be some of my guests. That's how I work. I'm a little bit different. I'm an open book. I do everything. I just want to have fun and talk. Look how much I talk with Sean today. I drank too much coffee today. That's what happened.
What's the name of the YouTube page again?
Frankie Frezko. It's just Frankie Frezko.
Frankie Frezko.
Yeah, just Frankie.
And also, while you're doing that, go over to Sean Stanley Sports Talk.
Correct.
Subscribe. Or actually, it's Sports Talk with Sean Stanley now. I changed it up, but
you did.
Give me a little subscribe too, please.
Yeah, subscribe to both of us. We're both doing. You know what we're doing? This is what we're doing. We're both giving you more content for you guys to like, and then Sean does the NASCAR and all that, right? You do the NASCAR.
Yeah. I had to take a couple weeks off, but yeah, I got to get back strong on that stuff, man. I got to get my content back up.
I like the NASCAR, but I haven't gone to NASCAR. I was a big fan when it was Jeff Gordon back in the day.
This week they are racing in the streets of Chicago. They shut down streets in Chicago and they're racing through downtown Chicago.
Oh, that's badass. You know what? You know who should wave the flag?
CM Punk. You know what? I got Chad. I appreciate you, my man. He said done and done.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you.
And for Frankie Frezko, I'm Sean Stanley. And in the words of the great Gordon Soley, so long from the Sunshine State. And in the words of Vince McMahon, Frankie Frezko, you're fired.